Misty rain has started to fall in the East Midlands. We said there was dark clouds overhead for more than one reason as well. Worth noting too, there is a financial update expected with the accounts being announced for Leicester tomorrow, and well, it may well not be pretty reading. Of course, there is still this potential charges of overspend FFP ruling, which again, I mean, I think it's probably unlikely to cost them points this season, but whatever happens to them, whether they stay down, whether they go up, next season, potential transfer embargo, potential loss of points. If you're a supporter and you're looking into the future, it can get lost in all the euphoria of maybe if they get promotion, they're going to be starting on the back foot next season.
Yeah, for a supporter it'll be difficult, but for a player, what you've got to do is, you know what, get promoted, get the job done, worry about that later. I know it seems easier said than done, but the most important thing for Leicester City Football Club, with the players and the squad, the money they've invested, is to get out of this division. The rest will take care of itself. If you're a player, you can't do anything about that. Get the job done on the pitch and then worry about that later.
The familiar sound of the fox hunting horn at the King Power Stadium. The flags are out as usual as well. It's one of the most raucous stadiums you can come to when they're on fire, but as we've seen in recent weeks, they can turn against their own when things don't quite go according to plan, and here they have lost their last two here. Middlesbrough and Queen's Park Rangers, both 2-1 defeats. They'll be looking to put that right today as Leicester City peel away to our right hand side, already stripped and ready for action, and Norwich in their traditional green and yellow with tracksuit tops on at the moment, away to our left hand side as the players greet each other. Our referee and the man in charge today is Darren Bond. He was on fourth official duty at the Premier League game at St James's Park that I was at on Saturday lunchtime. He had a fairly hefty job that day, keeping control of Eddie Howe and David Moyes. I wonder what they'll make of the players out there today. Let's run you through those two teams we brought you then about 25 minutes ago. Three changes today for Leicester City, as we mentioned. Hermansen is in goal. Pereira is one of those changes. He comes in at right back. Callum Doyle in at left back as well. Fass and Vestergaard are the two centre halves, and Didi, Winks and Dewsbury all unchanged in midfield. The two wingers stay the same as well, Fatawu and Mavadidi, and the other change is Vardy drops down to the bench and Pats and Daka comes in to start for Leicester City. It's his best league goal scoring tally for Leicester so far this season with 7 goals, but he hasn't hit the back of the net in the Championship since the 10th of February. As for Norwich, unchanged from the game against Plymouth on Friday, Angus Gunn is in goal, Stacey, Sorensen, Gibson and McCullum across the back, Nunez and McLean in midfield, Sarrar and Borja Sainz are the two wide players, and Ashley Barnes playing in that number 10 role just in behind the in-form Josh Sargent. We are almost ready to go here at the King Power Stadium. The atmosphere, as we say, is electric. The yellow and green shirts have been unveiled away to our left-hand side. And here comes the pre-match sing-along. We expect the ears to be blown off here today. Easter Monday, the first of 4 Bank Holiday Monday commentaries across the Talksport network for you on your home of the EFL. We've got 2 for you here on Talksport. Coming up after we're done today, we'll head off to the Bet365 for Stoke against Huddersfield. And then over on Talksport from 5 o'clock tonight, Ipswich against Southampton and Leeds versus Hull. It's going to be a bumper day of EFL action, and a reminder on Talksport throughout the afternoon, we'll be following all 3 divisions. It's Game Day Live with Adrian Durham, Alvin Martin, Adrian Clark and Mickey Gray on the team for that one, and they'll have the goals as they go in across the EFL and the National League. Almost ready to go here. The former England striker Darren Bent is alongside me, Adam Bridge, and it's going to be Norwich who are kicking from left to right in the opening 45 minutes and about to get us underway. And the familiar hair of Josh Sargent is inside the centre circle as the teams take the knee to show there is no room for racism in English football. We're about to get underway, and it's Josh Sargent who will get us going for Norwich, kicking off from left to right in these opening 45 minutes. What a day of action we've got. It is April Fool's Day as well, but I think that pass is at midday. Did anyone prank you today, Darren, or were you okay?
No, it was alright to be fair. I woke up expecting maybe something, but no, there was absolutely nothing to be fair, which I'll actually take.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought Goldstein may have been trying to do something, but clearly not today. But you've escaped him for today in the East Midlands with us here on Talksport 2, and immediately we seem to have a clash of heads just outside the centre circle. Now, before we've even got going here, 30 seconds or so on the clock, there's going to be some immediate treatment required, and the referee, Darren Bond, very quickly getting Vestergaard the treatment he needs as he's gone down at the edge of the centre circle. Yeah, it looked like he clashed there with Josh Sargent. I mean, really physical. It's going to be a good physical battle because Josh Sargent, he must be about 6'2". He looks like a good size, and Vestergaard, we know he's an absolute giant as well. So that's going to be a good battle. But I mean, one thing about Josh Sargent, we know he's got his pace. And I think if you are a centre forward, certainly you look at the back line, you're going to tend to lean towards Vestergaard. Not the quickest, maybe the biggest, but you certainly can get joy in and around him. Got his 50th start in a Leicester City shirt against Bristol City on Friday. Yannick Vestergaard cost £15 million when they picked him up from Southampton. I think he's going to be all right to continue, but he'll have to make the walk over and just stand with Enzo Maresca for 30 seconds or so, having received some treatment. And Darren Bond will just give the ball back to Norwich City away to our left-hand side. It's quite interesting what Norwich are doing there, because I expect them to line up 4-2-3-1, but it almost looks like Ashley Barnes is playing a little bit higher. I know he's dropped into a pocket there, but I thought he'd be up there, certainly picking up that type of positions in that centre circle, getting on the half turn, but it looks like he's playing a little bit higher. 34 years of age Barnes, he's gone twice in the space of 4 days. 37-year-old Jamie Vardy, not. He's on the bench. Charging forward now is Kenny McLean for Norwich, getting it out wide on that left-hand side. Good challenging immediately from Ricardo Pereira, back in the starting lineup today following injury. And they'll look to build from the back as ever. Fat inside his own penalty area, has to stab it clear in the end because of the good pressure being applied by Norwich City. And Vestergaard comes back onto the field of play, and Leicester are back up to their full complement of 11 as that ball swung in on that left-hand side by Sam McCullum, and it will be picked up on this near side by Callum Doyle, who was suspended, of course, after his red card against Chelsea in that FA Cup quarter-final for Leicester City, meaning he missed out against Bristol City on Good Friday. It's the Man City loanee with possession down this left-hand side for Leicester. Flick off by Mavididi, finds Dewsbury Hall, but immediately the defensive work of Jack Stacey, the former Bournemouth man, is impressive as he wins it back for Norwich. Then Barnes gets the better of Ndidi just at the edge of the centre circle, gives it out left on that far side to McCullum. He looks for Barnes again. Good header read that time by Fast. Nearly breaks towards Patson Daka, but it's swept up at the back again for Norwich by Ben Gibson, and he'll just leave it once more for Kenny McLean, who strides forward into midfield. And Norwich have made a bright start here, keeping possession, Darren Ben. Yeah, they have, and it's quite clever what they're doing, because Leicester have tried to go 4-3-3 and pushed Wilfred Ndidi and Kieran Dewsbury Hall almost as high as the two wide players as well, Mavididi. So it's almost like Norwich have recognised that relatively early, and Ashley Barnes is just dropping in behind Wilfred Ndidi, and as you can see there, he's probably got about 10 yards of space, and obviously Science on the other side as well, so it's going to be interesting to see if they can continue doing that. Well, first mistake of the game, and it's a bad one. Jakob Sorensen has played the ball forward to Gabriel Serrar, and he's just pumped it straight out for a corner. He's done that from about 25 yards out from his own goal line. He was facing back towards his own goal. Terrible mistake. If you ever want to keep the fans quite calm, that's not the thing to do there. I mean, again, maybe get them up the pitch, go a bit more direct, but it's this overplan at the back, and it might cost them. They could. Good at set pieces as ever, Leicester City. They've got some big men in there. Dewsbury Hall swings that one across, and Daka was trying to get on the header, but it's a decent header away by Ben Gibson right at the edge of his 6-yard box, and in the end it's a throw to Leicester on that far side, level with a penalty spot. What a cross that was from Kieran and Dewsbury Hall. Puts it there, and he gets up early, but he just can't get his head to it. It's really, really good defending from Ben Gibson. No goal or assist in his last 6 for Kieran Dewsbury Hall. Another one of the reasons that things have dried up a bit for Leicester City. The two wingers have been out of form. The goals have only been coming from Jamie Vardy. He's already got 10 to his name so far this season, Dewsbury Hall. And now the ball is flicked wide to this left-hand side now. Mavididi, edge of the penalty area, just tries to bring in Doyle. Doyle on his left foot slips it in to Dewsbury Hall inside the box. Lovely twist and turn, and then just overruns it out of play. What will be a goal kick for Norwich City away to our left-hand side, but that's got a bit of cheer into the Leicester City fans. Here it has, good play from Kieran Dewsbury Hall, but he just overdone it. When he went past him the first time, if you looked at Ndidi, Patson Daka, they've pulled off into a really intelligent area just outside the 6-yard box. If he flashes that across, one of them, or maybe both of them, whoever gets there first taps it in the empty net. He tried to then overdo it with another Cruyff, and obviously ran out of room. been at the club since the age of 8. There was talk, of course, of Brighton trying to purchase him during that January window. Nothing came of it in the end, I think, after Leicester told them to up their price. But Dewsbury Hall continues to be a Leicester player. Whether he will be next season or not is probably something that is out beyond everyone's control come the opening of that transfer window, depending on their status for next season. We've had just over 5.5 minutes. You're listening to Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. It's Game Day Live, and we're at the King Power Stadium, where it's Leicester 0, Norwich 0. Fass has it midway inside his own half on that right-hand side. Not too much pressure coming from Ashley Barnes, and they're happy to just sit and wait, Leicester, and then find space down this left-hand side. Mavadidi just can't control it. He was offside anyway, and it's out of play for what will be a throw to Norwich City on this near touchline.
I can understand the fans' frustration there, because if you looked at Norwich's position, especially the defensive line, they're just outside the centre circle, and every single player on the pitch, bar the goalkeepers, is probably in a 25-metre radius. Just clip the ball over the top. You've got Patson Daka who's quick, you've got Mavadidi who's quick, Dewsbury Hall and Wilfred Ndidi next to Patson Daka. Just drop it over the top, just mix it up, because that would then encourage Norwich to drop. But at the minute, they're comfortable defending a high line because there's no pass over the top.
It's quite ridiculous that Mavadidi ended up in an offside position there, given that Fass had so much time to actually pick the pass. Here's Dewsbury Hall now down this left-hand side. Now Mavadidi trying to stretch Stacey as he runs inside the penalty area. Onto his right foot, Mavadidi tees it to Winks at the edge of the penalty area, but he's well marshalled in there that time. It does come out though to Ricardo, who tries to slip the ball through on this near side, and there's going to be a chase on here for Mavadidi to try and get there, and Leicester City win the corner away to our left-hand side as we welcome listeners from Talksport. We've only been going for 7 minutes here at the King Power Stadium. It's Leicester City 0, Norwich City 0, and it's been a bright start from Norwich City so far, but Leicester already have their second corner of the game, which Mavadidi is going to take down here on the left-hand side. You'll hear from the former England striker Darren Bent, who's alongside me in a moment. Mavadidi swings that one in to the edge of the 6-yard box that's nodded away by Surah. And Darren, Norwich have made the brighter start and settled well.
Yeah, they have. I mean, they've not really had an attempt on goal, but they've defended really well. They've caused Leicester 1 or 2 problems. I mean, Kin and Dewsbury Hall there with a good bit of play down to the byline, gets a foul, but I think Norwich at the minute look more comfortable, and they could sense a little bit of nerves, even though we're only 7 minutes in. The Leicester fans are just starting to get a little bit agitated, a little bit.
Terrific atmosphere here inside the King Power today, given the fact they've lost their last 2 home games, Leicester City. They've got a really dangerous free kick here now though, 3 or 4 yards from the touchline, probably about 5 or 6 yards outside the penalty area to the left-hand side. It was after Dewsbury Hall was brought down by Marcelino Nunez, and I think there is already a problem here for Norwich City. Shane Duffy has certainly quickly made his way off the bench to go and get warmed up, so I think Norwich City may have an injury issue. Duffy, just back from injury, is now warming up down below while Leicester City prepare for this free kick. Dangerous position. Dewsbury Hall to swing it across, headed half away, comes out to Winks 25 yards from goal. The cry's a shout. He goes to the right hand side. Fatawu's there, and Didi towards the byline, blocked out of play and behind for what will be a goal kick to Norwich City away to our left hand side. So I'm going to assume it's a problem here for Sorensen or Gibson, Darren.
Yeah, he's gone down. Looks like it's Sorensen who's got the issue, and I think it was a collision, I think, with Patson Daka, and he went down, he was holding it, he tried to stay up while the corner came in. Well, clearly he can't continue, and listen, Shane Duffy and experience.
Well, Duffy's about to come on down below. We've had 8.5 minutes. The game continues right now over on Talksport 2, and it's currently Leicester City 0, Norwich City 0. Yeah, Sorensen is down. They've only just sent the trainer on, but Duffy's stripped and ready to go. So the seriousness of that injury for Jakob Sorensen, he'll depart. It's only his 5th start of this championship season for the day, and his first appearance of the season actually came in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. But he's gone, and Duffy will enter the fray. So certainly some experience coming into that Norwich back line.
Do you know what, it is experience, but one thing, if you're a Leicester City player, certainly a midfield player or a defender, you look at Gibson, you look at Duffy, the one thing they can't do, they're not burners, are they? They can't run. So surely now you don't keep playing to feet. That Patson Daka's feet, he doesn't want it to his feet. Mavadidi doesn't want it to his feet. The moment they start to squeeze up the pitch, a little clip in behind, not a smashing behind, just leave it in there, he'll run away from them and you'll get more opportunity. So eventually I expect Norwich to start dropping deeper and deeper, certainly with them 2 centre halves.
First touch for Duffy is a long ball pinged forward that's won on halfway by Harry Winks, and he and Doyle can play and go back to Vestergaard away to our right hand side. They're the only side that have really shown any attacking intent so far, have Leicester City. Norwich just happy to contain for the time being. Barnes has done well to dispossess Ricardo Pereira, and then across the middle of the park that's picked up by Gabriel Serrara, who goes forward, and it's a decent run from that left hand side by Borja Sainz, who's still going strong here, and Fass just had a couple of pulls at the shirt, and in the end he's penalised by Darren Bond, and it'll be a free kick for Norwich inside the centre circle.
I thought you were going to swap shirts at half time. No, at the end of the game, not then. He absolutely had full grab of his shirt. I mean, well played from Wout Faes. Didn't let him turn, didn't let him get the goal side of him, tracked his run, and to be fair, Pereira really intelligent, just filled in behind him just so there weren't a space, but really good position there for Norwich to have a free kick on the edge of the centre circle.
It's a very fluid system for Leicester City, with Ricardo Pereira often dropping into that midfield area as well, but they've got some defending to do here. Serrara is going to be the player who is going to lift in this free kick, and immediately they've sent Duffy forward, and Barnes, we know how good he can be in the air. Duffy's the target though, and he's going to win the first header against Mavididi, and they're just going to try and shepherd it out of play, which they do, and there's plenty of conversations there and angst maybe between Hermansson and Fass as they were all just queuing up to try and let that ball run out of play, but Hermansson didn't seem too happy about it.
No, he didn't. And Mavididi, fair play to him, because Duffy's 6'5", much bigger than him, just used his body, didn't let him get a clean purchase on it, and maybe that's why the header back across the box wasn't that great. But listen, really intelligent play from Mavididi, knowing he can't win the header, just make sure that he doesn't get a clean connection on it.
11 minutes played, you're listening to Talksport 2, it's Leicester City 0, Norwich City 0. We are bringing you 50 live games throughout April across the Talksport network. We've got it all covered for you, of course. The conclusion to the EFL, the latter stages of the European competitions, the WSL, the FA Cup, and of course the Premier League too. In fact, we've got all 10 Premier League fixtures for you this midweek across the Talksport network, starting tomorrow night, where Darren's going to be at the London Stadium for West Ham United against Tottenham, which is our commentary on Talksport tomorrow evening, as there's a foul, this time on Dewsbury Hall. It took a couple of Norwich players to stop him, and the free kick is taken quickly, and it's picked up by Doyle midway inside the Norwich half. Goes back towards halfway, Pereira's there once more, and then Vestergaard onto Winks down this left-hand side. Mavididi's out wide on this near touchline, but Winks instead goes infield to Vestergaard, and Fass and Fatawu on that far side has got acres of space, but Fass instead plays a lovely diagonal to this near side, switches play. Mavididi on his own, right-footed towards the back post, where Fatawu and Daka were coming in, but it's comfortably gathered in the end by the keeper Angus Gunn, and he'll clear for Norwich City.
It was the right option, the right decision, but he just got the execution wrong, because there was an overload at the back post with Ndidi coming in, but he puts it too much, the goalkeeper comes and gets it. But I think Leicester just need to up it a little bit in terms of the tempo, because they're allowing Norwich to get back into shape really, really quickly, and then there's no through pass for them, so there's no space. If they want to get in behind Norwich, they've got to play it a little bit quicker.
And Mavididi has notched up 13 championship assists this season, but not one yet in 2024. So we talk about the change and the dip in form for Leicester as a team, but it's the individuals that have dipped as well.
And it's a bit of a worry, because as you said, early on in the season was all great, but this is crunch time. These are the times you need to get your top performers on their game, and unfortunately for Leicester at this current minute, too many of them are not.
Borja Sainz has been upended on that far side by Fatawu, and now he's breaking away following the free kick inside the penalty area, tries to play it across with the outside of his right boot from that left hand side of the box towards Josh Sargent, but it's straight into the arms of Hermansson away to our right hand side.
Took too long, he got it down there, and it was really well worked from Norwich. I think if he takes that first touch and then puts it across, that gives Josh Sargent an opportunity to get into it, but by the time he crossed it, I mean, there was no space. Wout Faes and Vestergaard had kind of locked him out, the goalkeeper came and got it, and there was no space. So a little bit earlier, that would have caused a problem.
Fatawu was just too busy arguing with the referee, and allowed them to take that free kick quickly and catch him completely out of position. 14 minutes played, you're listening to Talksport 2, Leicester City 0, Norwich City 0. First of our 4 live championship commentaries for you today, exclusive to National Radio. We've been with you every step of the way from August, and we'll continue to do so through to the end of this championship season. Of course, exclusive coverage of the playoffs and the playoff finals too. It's the only place you can hear them on National Radio. Lovely through ball, Daka's got onto it inside the penalty area, left hand side, keeper's come out to meet him, and he's done brilliantly, has Angus Gunn, because he's blocked that out. The outstretched boot of Duffy just diverted it away enough, and then Gunn committed, and he did the job. It's a corner to Leicester.
And that's exactly what I said. Duffy, good defender, not quick. Patson Daka's he can run, he's quick. Callum Doyle really gets out his feet and just recognises where the space is, just rolls it in behind. Duffy does well to get something on it, but that's where the space is, and that's where, stop playing to feet all the time, be a bit more direct.
Here's the corner. Swung over by Mavadidi, half cleared as far as Dewsbury Hall, who couldn't quite get his head onto it. And it will mean Ricardo will pick up the loose ball on halfway for Leicester City. Few blue shirts still in there behind the back line of Norwich City, so rather than going forward they go sideways to Winks, and now to Ricardo Pereira, who's back in that starting lineup today for Leicester City. And much miss he's been. Lovely switch of play by Doyle out wide to that right hand side. Big roar of applause as Fatawu goes in the box, and Didi's made the run and tries to drill it across, and there is appeals for handball, but in the end Duffy's put it out of play for what will be a corner on that far side.
Not a penalty. I mean, they're screaming for a penalty. It's good defending from Ben Gibson, who gets his body in the way, and his arms are down by his side and it hits his arm, but you can't start giving penalties for that. Well, I hope not anyway.
Yeah, really good defending in the end by Gibson. Quick switch of play. They really appreciated that move by Callum Doyle, though. Only 20 years of age, 12th start of the campaign. He started 4 of the last 31 in the Championship, so not seen too much of him, but good vision to set Fatawu away on that far side. Here comes the corner, swung across by the left boot of Dewsbury Hall this time. It's headed away at the near post by Sarah, and then charging into the box is Fatawu again. Once more it's out to Dewsbury Hall. Switch to Winks, 30 yards out from goal. On his left foot, Winks drives one, scuffs it a little bit and dribbles along the ground, and out of play for what will be a goal kick away to our left hand side. And it's going to be Gunn who will now clear it away.
Set plays have got to be better. I think the 3 corners they've had so far, Leicester, each one of them's hit the front post. They've been clear, there's got to be better. And then Harry Winks shooting with his weaker foot from 30 yards. I mean, you've got to just calm it down. We understand that they need to win this game, well, they feel they need to win the game, but you can't be taking rash shots like that. You got to just calm it down, and that'll keep everyone else calm. But if you start shooting from 30 yards with your weaker foot, that puts everyone else on edge.
That's the voice of the former England striker Darren Bent, who's alongside us. He's on loan from Talksport Drive for this afternoon to Talksport 2. We should make it a permanent deal. Who needs this loan business?
Hey, the company's better now.
He'll have you for that, you know that. On the, if he's up this time on a bank holiday Monday.
Definitely not.
Left hand side, Norwich lifting the ball forward towards halfway. Fast goes up with a towering header, and I think he thought the final touch there had come off Gabriel Sarrar, but it's out of play for what will be a throw on that far side. He's given the free kick. I didn't think that was a foul, did you? I thought he won the header cleanly.
I thought it was great defending from Wildface. Big, strong centre half, just letting the attacker know that he's there. Won the header quite clearly. You can't start again giving fouls for that. For me, not a foul whatsoever.
Darren Bond, the referee, been a bit finicky so far. Any kind of contact he seems to be clamping down on. Here's Duffy, just inside his own half for Norwich City. There was a bit of discontent when he was in the starting lineup on the opening day for Norwich City. I think they were hoping they were going to be this young and progressive side, and saw Duffy as a bit of a step back. But you need that blend of experience and youth, don't you?
Yeah, I know everyone wants this no free-flowing football, but at times you need experience. You need someone that knows exactly what they're doing, and Shane Duffy certainly knows that.
Stacey tries to get away down this right-hand side. Good intervention from Vestergaard, who puts the ball out of play for a throw down this near touchline. And it'll be taken on this near side by Stacey. He's being forced back 5 or 6 yards by Darren Bond. 18 minutes on the clock, 0-0. Bright start to the game. Leicester with the attacking intent. Nothing really going forward yet from Norwich till now. Barnes helps it round the corner. Stacey to the byline, looks to pull it back towards Sargent and the arriving Sarrar, but in the end Fast puts it behind for another corner to Norwich.
Great play from Norwich there again, but there was no real option for him. You needed someone to maybe move a couple of yards, maybe pull off a defender so he could cut it back to us. And he got Jack Stacey, got to the byline, he looked up and there was just Leicester bodies in there. There was no one he could really pick out, but a really good position and opportunity now for Norwich from the corner.
Terrific tip round the corner by Ashley Barnes, wasn't it? Lovely little layoff.
Yeah.
Here's the corner for Norwich down this right hand side, and it's going to be swung in by Marcelino Nunez. Another chance maybe for Duffy to get involved inside that penalty area. Gibson is up there too, right-footed Nunez. It's a worked one shot, and it's in. And what a terrific corner that is. And it's turned home by Gabriel Sarrar at the near post for Norwich. It's a wonderfully worked routine into the near post. He makes the charge from the end of the 6-yard box to the near post and pokes the ball home. No one responded. No one in the Leicester defence moved. And Norwich have silenced the King Power this Easter Monday. It's Leicester 0, Norwich City 1.
First and foremost, Patson Daka will not want to see that again, because he runs off the back of him, he doesn't react, he doesn't track him, and it's a really good play from Gabriel Sara. Gets in there, kind of drifts in there. I mean, it's Patsadaka who's with him, he's looking at him, and he just lets him run past him, and by the time he reacts, it's too late. Really good movement from Ben Gibson, who moves off the near post, clears that space from Keenan Dewsbury Hall. Mavrodidi doesn't react, but Gabriel Sara gets in there, and he's got a free rein in there. Really good finish, but again, really well worked from Norwich. Ben Gibson's there at the near post, he moves Keenan Dewsbury Hall, which creates the opportunity, and Gabriel Sara gets across the near post, gets something on it. Really good goal from Norwich.
I mean, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Brilliant.
It's well worked, it's from the training ground, and you're right, the great spot by you there, Darren, is that move from Gibson, who gets Dewsbury Hall out of the way.
That's what clears the space. Keenan Dewsbury Hall's watching the ball, and he's thinking, right, I'll clear it if it goes in there. Ben Gibson just moves him out of the way a little bit, and that creates the space for Gabriel Sara to get himself in there. Really good finish, but again, Patsadaka, an attacker, that's what happens when you have attackers marking, they lose discipline.
Leicester 0, Norwich City 1, 20 minutes on the clock here. Well, they're trying to raise the tempo again here, Leicester City, but it's the Norwich fans are in full voice, and it's Barnes again down this right hand side into the feet of Josh Sargent, man over on the far side, the left hand side, if they can slip him in, and they can, and the offside flag goes up as it's chased down by Borja Sainz. Well, just for a moment then there was a 2-on-1 overload on that left hand side, but he couldn't stay the right side of the offside flag, otherwise that would have been 2-0 to Norwich.
Ashley Barnes has started off outstanding in that hole, picking up the ball, picking up the second balls. His touch has been good, his vision's been good, he's been a real pest to the centre halves as well, and at the minute it's Norwich that are in the ascendancy.
The cheers come from the Leicester City supporters as they win the ball back on halfway through Doyle. How can they respond to going a goal behind? Inside the centre circle, Vestergaard has it, flips the ball through the middle, Daka's trying to run onto it and can't get there. It's the fact it was Ndidi who was the furthest runner forward. Daka not moving too far at all on that occasion, and it's gathered comfortably by Gunn away to our left hand side.
Again, you look at the possession, Leicester have had 60% possession, Norwich have had 40, but this is where Norwich like to be. They don't mind not having large spells with the ball. They have been quite comfortable without possession, whereas the Leicester are a team that need the ball. So right now, if you're Norwich City, and certainly the manager, you're thinking tactics, execution, it's been perfect so far.
Gabriel Sara is just so critical to this Norwich side. 68th consecutive championship start for him. His 11th goal of the championship season, and makes a huge difference for the Canaries. And he's put them in front as we approach the midway point of this first half. You're listening to Leicester against Norwich in the EFL Championship on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty rewards points. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. Barnes trying to win it back, this time inside his own half, and he does. And he finds Duffy, and it'll be back at the feet of Gunn, all in grey away to our left-hand side. And it's Ben Gibson who will drive forward for Norwich. Short on that far side where he finds McCullum, who they signed from Coventry City, immediately loaned back, but now has certainly established his place at left back in this Norwich City lineup. Here's on the right-hand side Duffy, up towards halfway. He goes forward and brings in the goal scorer, Sara, who goes out wide on this near side, but offside flag up against Jack Stacey, who's coming back from an offside position, and they've taken it quickly. And here's Dewsbury Hall, clipping the ball over the top towards Daka. Fatawu's coming in to arrive now, wins it, takes it to the corner flag. The Norwich player goes down. Fatawu still with possession inside the penalty area. It's a cross towards Dewsbury Hall, who tries to win the header. Half cleared. Who's back there again? Ashley Barnes doing the defending for Norwich.
Do you know what? Wrong option. Fatawu gets down the line and he clips the ball up, and you've got Dewsbury Hall up against Shane Duffy. He's never going to win that header. What you need is a cutback. You need a cutback or someone who really pulls off and creates an angle, a bit of space, because you whipping balls in against Shane Duffy and Ben Gibson, you're never going to win the header.
Doyle swings the ball into the box. Gunn's gathered it. I think Sam McCullum is feeling the challenge from Fatawu on that far side. Fatawu won the ball, and assistant and referee were happy, but I think he may have caught a bit of McCullum in the process. He's going to carry on without treatment. And the annoyance from the home support is the fact that Gunn's taken his time. Oh, that's given away. Edge of the penalty area. Winks goes down under the challenge at the edge of the D, but it's a clean challenge from Marcelino Nunez in the eyes of Darren Bond, and he needed to make it as well, because that was an error from Norwich City that could well have been punished as the ball goes out of play on the far side for a Norwich throw.
Yeah, don't want to cause your own problems there, Norwich. Trying to play out from the back as well, and that pass just wasn't on. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't on. Harry Winks nearly kind of reacted to it and nearly took it, but again, to be a little bit more direct, you've got Josh Sargent up there, big 6 foot. Ashley Barnes has started off this game, as we spoke about, really, really well. They've got good size there, so you don't always have to go feet and play out from the back and play this fancy, pretty football. If you've got to go a bit more direct just to clear your lines and get Norwich up the pitch, then that's what you're going to have to do.
Nunez sometimes just dropping between the two centre halves for Norwich City. That's what happened there, and he almost got caught out, but he did manage to rectify the situation as charging down that right hand side trying to get forward again is Fatawu, but he's just run the ball into touch and Norwich have the throw on the far side. And it just feels like nothing is quite going right for Leicester City at this moment in time.
Already I'm looking at the bench and I'm looking at Jamie Vardy in particular, and I'm thinking with his movement and how dynamic he is and how he'll make his teammates make that pass, because I'm looking at Patson Daka, who's done okay so far, but with some of his movements a little bit laboured, there's no real intensity to it. One thing about Vardy, he plays with intensity, he runs with intensity, and that might make his teammates go, do you know what, he's made that run, I have to feed him. So at the minute it's a little bit one-dimensional, so I think they need to mix it up.
Ashley Barnes does well again, winning the ball in the middle of the park for Norwich. 34 years of age, experience. He's got 6 goals this season, but you get the feeling that's not what he's in this Norwich City side for. He's playing very clever in that number 10 role. Stacey up this near side. Sada comes across again, and Doyle's just loses possession, but it's Fass who's midway inside the Norwich half and gets possession for Leicester City. Winks will go back towards halfway and find Vestergaard. Vestergaard and Pereira just exchanging passes, and everyone's camped inside the Norwich City half, and the Norwich backline just being forced back a little by Mavadidi, but the challenge from Stacey's good, and it's a throw on this near side for Leicester City. Taken short by Doyle. Doyle again back from Mavadidi away to our right hand side. Clipped forward this time by Vestergaard out wide, and the roars every time they play a ball wide to Fatawu on that far side are incredibly loud inside this Leicester City stadium as Ricardo gets there first. Fatawu on that far side, no offside flag, cuts inside to the byline, pulls it back to Daka, and it's well defended that time by Shane Duffy once more.
Good play from Fatawu there, got to the byline, but it's so congested in there with Norwich defenders that the pass is going to have to be absolutely perfection for it to hit to a Leicester player. But I mean, keep switching the ball, that's where the space is. Mavadidi, Fatawu, keep getting the ball out to these guys, creating 1v1s, and something will happen.
Slips ball down this left hand side for Dewsbury Hall to the byline, cuts it back, free header surely at the edge of the 6-yard box for Wilfred Ndidi, but he's put it over the top of the crossbar.
Got up too early, didn't time his jump at all. I mean, Keenan Dewsbury Hall, really good ball, used his body, let it run across his body, just stood the ball up to the back post. And Wilfred Ndidi, who's got the jump on the defender, he just goes up way too early. If he holds it maybe half a second and then goes up, he's coming onto it and heading it down, but he goes up way too early, so by the time it hits his head, it goes up in the air.
Good opportunity for Ndidi. 27 and a half minutes gone. You're listening to Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. It's Game Day Live on Talksport 2. And it's Leicester City 0, Norwich City 1. Remember, Stoke against Huddersfield is our live game from 3 o'clock this afternoon here on Talksport 2. And at that point, you'll be halfway through the 4 games we've got for you from the Championship this Easter Monday. And then over on Talksport from 5, we'll start the build-up to Ipswich against Southampton, which gets underway at 5:30. And of course, Ipswich top of the table. Southampton are still clinging on in there with a couple of games in hand, so it's going to be a tough old game today for Ipswich at home, but they're in terrific form right now. In fact, it's only Leeds and Ipswich that have won more points in the last 6 games than Norwich City have. And we end up our 4 commentaries today, of course, at Ellen Road. Leeds unbeaten in 2024. Hull just hovering outside their playoff places, but form's not good at this moment in time. And that's our late game tonight from 8 o'clock right here on the Talksport network. 2 on Talksport 2 today and 1 on Talksport. Here's Dewsbury Hall, 35 yards from goal. Bundled over was he? Yes, he was, in the eyes of Darren Bond. Gabriel Salah, the goal scorer, is penalised, and it will be a free kick for Leicester, and they'll take their time over this one and allow Fass and Vestergaard to come in the box. Darren Bennett.
Yeah, got the delivery right. I mean, it's a bit straight for them to kind of whip it into. I think they're going to have to kind of create an angle from somewhere. But again, Keenan Dewsbury Hall getting on the half turn, getting his body in. I thought it was a little bit soft from Sarah. I'm not quite sure it was a foul.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure it was a foul, but the referee has kind of given a few fouls rather than a bit. maybe a little bit sceptical, but no, it's a great opportunity. When you look at the size of Leicester, I mean, Norwich have got some big boys in there as well, but the delivery has got to be right.
Well, they haven't worked Angus Gunn yet in the opening 29 minutes of this game. One bit of work to come out and close Daka down. Winks is going to leave it for Dewsbury Hall. It's low and doesn't get beyond the first man. It comes out to Winks because it's only half cleared. And now is there a counter on for Norwich? No. Winks has done brilliantly. He had two round him, smuggles it away, and in the end it's Stacey who has to be clever and gets the clearance away on this near side. Kenny McLean is down. He's now up and about for Norwich. So they're back to full complement. Doyle gets it in, evades everybody, and then he's only half stabbed clear by McCullum, and it breaks to Fatawu, edge of the penalty area on his left foot. Who's he teeing that up for? There's nobody there. Dewsbury Hall gathers it, left hand side for Doyle, infield again for Winks. There's a stream of blue shirts all outside the edge of the penalty area. Here's Fass, 35-40 yards from goal, back to Vestergaard. There's 5 in a Leicester front line right now, and they do find Ndidi. And now Fatawu on that far side. Ndidi to the byline, pulls it back. Dewsbury Hall with a header, comes down towards Mavadidi. His attempt is half cleared, and Norwich will get it out, and they'll get it back to halfway, and they'll drag themselves up. And that back line now sits probably about 7 or 8 yards outside their own penalty area as Leicester come again. Harry Winks, the tormentor in chief down this left-hand side, gets it to Mavadidi, but it's out for a throw.
Fatawa's got down to the byline so many times, and it's just that final delivery, and there was even an opportunity there where Wilfred Ndidi run beyond him. He gets to the byline, and it's that final cross delivery just isn't quite there yet.
And Vestergaard's pass to Fatawu on that far side. He's caught offside, and it'll be a free kick to Norwich, a couple of yards outside their own penalty area. We've had, 31 minutes of this game. Leicester City 0, Norwich City 1, and already Norwich not rushing to take this free kick on that far side, just trying to get a breather in after a fairly hectic 5 minutes.
It has been, and for that one there's no excuse for that. Fatawu, you're looking right across the line there. Fatawu, you're looking right across the line. We've seen him be offside, we've seen Mavadidi be offside. You shouldn't be, you're looking right across the line. You should never be offside in that position, but if you're Norwich at the minute, yes, you've had to weather a little bit of a storm, but have not tested your goalkeeper yet, so that's got to be giving him massive confidence, the manager.
Gone with a long clearance forward, taken down and breaks towards Sargent. We've not seen much of him in the opening exchanges here for Norwich City. McCullum on that far side gets the ball across into the middle of the park, where Nunez will drift it to this near touchline. Stacey takes it down brilliantly, level with the edge of the box. He's closed down by Mavadidi and is forced backwards, and it's Nunez who had followed his pass who picks it up. Kenny McLean, experienced Scotsman in the heart of that midfield for Norwich City, comes towards Gibson. Gibson to Barnes, back to Nunez on halfway. Norwich trying to find a way. Clips ball over the top, and it's gathered by Hermansen at the edge of his own penalty area for Leicester City.
Yeah, good run, really good run there from Sainz. He got him behind. Leicester's line was quite high, and his little clip ball just got the wrong execution, a little bit straight on the pass as well, because that favours the goalkeeper, Hermansen, coming out. But Norwich have been really comfortable and really impressed me, certainly from a defensive standpoint, and obviously that really clever corner which got them in front. They look comfortable at the minute, really comfortable, and Leicester have got to do something to kind of change that.
Here's Doyle, midway inside the Norwich City half, as he's been on many occasions in the opening 32 minutes here, but yet to really force Angus Gunn into a save. It's Ricardo Pereira, who's just harried and hassled by Ashley Barnes, who just pushes him out of the way. Fatawu on that far side. The applause is ironic because this time he wasn't offside, and again the applause is ironic from the Leicester City supporters, who just showing their frustration through kind of dark comedy right now. Here's Ndidi, swings it towards the back post. Mavadidi's there, not in home by Dewsbury Hall, and Leicester City are level, and immediately Valfast cups his ears to his own supporters. It's Dewsbury Hall with a header. The cross was swung over, nodded back into the danger zone by Mavadidi, and Dewsbury Hall has his first goal since January the 30th for Leicester City, and they're level. It's Leicester City 1, Norwich City 1.
Yeah, Wout fast with a cross. It wasn't the greatest ball in the world. I thought he overhit it, but Mavadidi, as you said, that does really well at the back post and just heads it back into a really good area. And Keenan Dewsbury Hall being really brave, because the goalkeeper's there, he could get hit and he doesn't. He gets there first, powers ahead of him, and it's a really well worked. I mean, it wasn't the greatest ball into the box again from a Leicester perspective, and Wout Feist, he had the opportunity first to come back to him. He then puts a better ball into the box, but Mavadidi does really well there, and Keenan Dewsbury Hall's free inside the 6-yard box, powers a header, couldn't miss, really good goal.
Too much time and space for Mavadidi on that occasion. That's given away by Duffy to Dewsbury Hall, and then takes him out. on this near side, probably about 5 or 6 yards off the angle of the penalty area. Duffy's going to get a yellow card. There's absolutely no doubt about that, and it'll be a free kick for Leicester City.
Yeah, a little bit naughty there from Shane Duffy. They've obviously given the ball away, and Keenan Dewsbury does really well, reacts really well, and just gets a toe just before Shane Duffy, and Shane Duffy again brings him down, and now he's going to have to watch himself, certainly with the likes of attacking players from a Leicester perspective. But again, can they put a better ball into the box? Because their set plays so far this first half haven't been good enough.
What did you make of that? Fast cupping his ear to those supporters over that far side.
It's a little bit cheeky that. Again, that doesn't help the situation, because now every time he gives the ball away, they're going to be on his case. He's cupping his ear to the Leicester City supporters. You know what I mean? I know they're going for a bit of a difficult time, but everyone just needs to keep calm, and him on the pitch there, just concentrate on doing your job. Worry about the rest later.
Yeah, they've got to keep on the same side, haven't they? That's the key in all of this. 10 minutes to go to half time. It's been a cracking opening 45 minutes here at the King Power, and now a chance maybe for Leicester. They've got some momentum. Dewsbury Hall, it's probably 7 or 8 yards off the angle of the penalty area on this left hand side, with his left foot, swings it across. It's low, it's dribbled through the box and almost evaded everyone, and then it's a poor attempt to get it away from Nunez, because he's passed it straight back to the men in blue. And now down this near side, Mavadidi's there, Dewsbury Hall's cut inside, Doyle's gone inside the box, and the defending had to be done by signs. And the final touch was off Doyle and out of play. What will be a goal kick to Norwich away to our left-hand side. And I'm guessing now, if you're David Wagner, you just want to calm things down and get in at 1-1 and you'd be happy.
Exactly. I mean, Norwich, I thought, have been very, very good this first half. You don't want to start giving them opportunities like Shane Duffy causing that fouls there, getting the play, giving the whole place a lift. Just keep possession of what you're doing, playing in Leicester's half. Just do exactly what you've been doing before they conceded that goal, and you'll be happy. Don't overcomplicate it.
Well, Sam McCullum on that far side, has he been dispossessed? No, he's been fouled. The challenge from Ndidi is punished. They've taken it quickly. Josh Sargent's holding his arms out saying, what are you doing? Because he's taken it quickly and given it straight back to Leicester. But it's really good work from Salah, who gets it back for Norwich, then goes back to Gunn the first time, who's being closed down by Patson Daka and has to get it forward, and Sargent's offside, and there's going to be a free kick for Leicester. And just at that point, Darren Bond to a little shove from Ashley Barnes as he pushed Harry Winks over, and I think he's just telling them all just to calm down a little.
Again, Norwich there giving the ball away from a needless free kick, quick free kick. What, you've got 10 minutes before till half time. Just calm it down, take your time a little bit. It's the Leicester fans that are getting a little bit anxious. Don't give them a leg up in any stretch of the imagination. Just keep playing what you've been doing first half, taking your time, throw on, slowing the game right down.
Pass out wide to Fatawu on that far side. The ironic cheers continue as Fatawu will take on his man McCullum. He's done brilliantly. Fatawu gets to the byline, cuts it back. Daka, first touch, tees it up for Winks, and the shot is dribbled straight into the arms of Gunn. I think it's a good deflection which took the sting out of it, and Gunn makes a comfortable save.
Yeah, fell to the wrong man. Harry Winks, not, I wouldn't say renowned for his finishing, but really good play there from Fatawu. But Patson Daka gets his body in, which I like, and just lays it quite nicely to Harry Winks on the edge of the box. And he really should do better there, because he's in the middle of the D on the edge of the box, and he hits it straight at the goalkeeper. There's no real power, no real pace on it. You've got to test the keeper a little bit more with that.
Yeah, I was being generous saying it's a good deflection. It was just a poor shot, wasn't it? It was straight at Gunn. It's one of those where you just think if he tucked that in the bottom corner, I mean, it would have been what you'd expect, actually, of the quality of Harry Winks and some of the goals he's scored over the years. Nearly 38 minutes play, 1-1 here. Fatawu on that far side does well to keep it in, and then runs it out of play, so it'll be a throw in for Norwich. Right ball by the corner flag on that far side as we enter the last 7 minutes of the first half on Talksport 2. Leicester City 1, Norwich City 1. Remember, every Premier League game is live on the Talksport network this week. We've got two teams here desperate to get into that Premier League. Those that are already there are in midweek action, and we've got it all covered for you here on Talksport 2. Tomorrow night, where Newcastle, if they can get 11 players together, to take on Everton, who are now 12 games without a win in the Premier League. That's our 7:30 kickoff live on Talksport 2 tomorrow night, and over on Talksport it's West Ham against Spurs in the Premier League. That's an 8:15 start. The other three games tomorrow night, Forest Fulham, Bournemouth Palace and Burnley Wolves, are all available via the Talksport app, and you can get that downloaded right now, and then you can switch between the games. You will need it this week and throughout April, I promise you. Left-footed ball swung in by Doyle, and it's gathered again by Gunn at the edge of the 6-yard area. He was telling Jack Stacey off, and telling him to just think a little bit about what he's doing as we enter the last 6 minutes of the first half.
It's quite clever from Leicester what they're doing, because they're pushing the wide men so high and wide that every single time a defender or midfield player get the ball for Leicester, the switch is on. So they go to Fatawu with the other side, he's 1v1. You come this side, Mavdidi, he's 1v1. It's about when they get into them areas, can they be a bit better with their creative, because they're putting crosses in that are not quite getting there, and the delivery into the box hasn't been great, but they're creating a 1v1, so eventually at some point you'd expect something will happen.
Here's Stacey on this right hand side, midway inside his own half. Again, he's closed down by Mavdidi. They may not be contributing in terms of goals, etc., the wings, but they're working incredibly hard for Leicester City today. Winks out to Fatawu on that far side. It was a flat pass this time, so not in an advanced position, and he just holds the ball up and then gives it back to Fass, who'll now hit the diagonal towards Dewsbury Hall inside the penalty area. The first header from Duffy comes out to Mavdidi, who just lifts it inside the 6-yard area, and it's well gathered by Gunn in the Norwich goal away to our left hand side. I feel like someone's been saying that for many years. Gunn in the Norwich goal away to our left hand side. Of course, his famous dad Brian was there for so long. Third spell with the club as well, this for Angus Gunn. Born in Norwich, he's 28 years of age now, the Scotsman, and getting some international action as well for Steve Clarke and his Scotland side ahead of the Euros this summer, which of course you'll be able to follow across the Talksport network throughout this summer. The team are off to Germany for what should be a fantastic tournament, and every game is live across the Talksport network. 4.5 minutes to go. The sun's come out at the King Power, and it has in the second part of this first half for Leicester City. They are level, and they've had the better of the exchanges really in the last 10 or 15 minutes, and that's a poor pass that time from Ashley Barnes. He's put it straight out of play midway inside the Leicester half, and they will have the throw, and it's taken short by Doyle, who finds Vestergaard at the edge of his own penalty area. Hermansen, who's got 12 clean sheets to his name this season. He only missed the Huddersfield game because of a quad injury, Hermansen, but very much the first choice for Leicester City this season. Still, Archuk has played the cup games. He's amongst the substitutes today, as that's flicked over the top of the run that was being made that time by Daka inside the penalty area. Hacked clear again by Stacey, but it's almost like there's an impenetrable wall of Leicester players on halfway, and they pick the ball up again out wide to that right hand side. Fatawu comes in field. He and Pereira exchange passes. Everyone again is inside Norwich territory as we enter the closing stage of this first half. It's Fass to the right hand side. Fatawu down the line takes a deflection and will go out of play for a corner to Leicester City on the right hand side.
Yeah, Fatawu creating that 2v1 overload on that far side, and he's been quite impressive. Everything up to the final pass or delivery into the box has been good. He knows he's got Sam McCullum on toast really. Every time he gets it, he goes past him like he's not there. It's just about that final little bit of quality. Can he create it and create something for his teammates?
You're listening to EFL Game Day Live on Talksport 2. 3 minutes to half time. 1-1 at the King Power between Leicester and Norwich. Here's the corner for Leicester on that far side. Left foot is swung over and straight into the arms of Gunn, who gathers that at the back post inside his 6-yard area. Remember, we've got you covered as we enter the run in this enthralling EFL season. The title race, of course, automatic promotion challenge and relegation, all still to be decided, and we'll have all the key games every step of the way till May right here across the Talksport network. Here's Duffy. Goes short in field that time. Nunez picks it up and out to McLean on this near side. Now Duffy's going to go long for Norwich City. Over halfway, Sargent just stretches out his right boot to try and take it down. Can't get there, and Borja Sainz has made a terrific run from that left wing position to try and put some pressure on. But now a chance maybe to break through and break lines here for Leicester City, but it's a good interception by Stacey on this near touchline. And now Barnes will get there and give it down to Nunez, taken away by Mavdidi. There's an overlap on here with Fatawu. Lovely ball dug out wide to that right hand side. He's on the run on that left foot, pings it into the box, and again Duffy has to stand tall with a headed clearance, only as far as Doyle. Into the edge of the penalty area. Dewsbury Hall keeps it alive on this left hand side as we welcome listeners to Talk Sport. It's Leicester 1, Norwich 1 here at the King Power. Last 2 minutes of the first half, lifted by Mavdidi into the box and headed away that time by McCullum on that far side. Fast keeps it alive. Fatawu tries to turn away, goes down, wants the free kick, nothing given, and Norwich Norwich will try and bring it clear, and they do, courtesy of McLean, up to halfway on that left-hand side. Lovely ball slipped in for Sargent down that left-hand side. He's got Barnes inside the penalty area. He's got the scorer of the first goal, Sadar, as well, but instead he goes back in field. Driven shot, takes a deflection and goes out of play for what will be a corner down this right-hand side. The effort that time coming in from Borja Sainz. Darren Bentley, former England striker, alongside me. One each here, Darren, but a cracking game of football.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. I mean, that's the first time Norwich have had an attempt on goal since they scored from that corner. They look comfortable in a minute, but it's like Leicester, it looks like they're getting a bit more momentum now, pushing the ball forward, getting the ball out to Fatawu, who's causing real problems. Got Ndidi doing the overlapping run as well. But Norwich now, they know they're dangerous from set plays, and this could be a route for them going into half-time, winning the game.
This exact route of that first goal, the corner down this right-hand side, brilliantly put away by Sadar in a brilliant routine for Norwich City early on in this game. The equaliser from Dewsbury Hall, though, just past the half hour. This time they go deeper towards the back post, and Sargent was up there with a header, and he got a clean header on it as well, but he just pops it over the bar.
Yeah, difficult again. I mean, he got up it really early, and it's really congested the penalty area, but he's got up really, really well, but he just can't get down enough, and it's a bit of a floaty cross. There's not a lot of pace on the cross as well, so he's trying to generate it and just gets a little bit too much on it.
Plenty of tension in the crowd between the Leicester supporters and the Leicester players, particularly when they were a goal down. But at the moment, as we head into added time at the end of this first half, it's Leicester 1, Norwich 1. The game continues right now on Talksport 2. Into 3 minutes of added time. Mavididi down this left-hand side towards the byline. Looks to cut into the box. Keeps it alive. Onto the far side. Fatawu takes it down in the penalty area. On his left foot. Slips it to Ndidi at the byline. They want a handball. And no, says the assistant on the far side, who had the best view. Well, Ndidi was a couple of yards away from Gibson. Darren Bond was out the edge of the penalty area. He says just a corner.
No, again, Gibson keeping his arm next to his body as well, and I understand why they're screaming for it, but when you look at it, Ben Gibson, he doesn't make himself bigger, he just keeps his arm right down by his chest, and it hits his arm and goes up for a corner, but again, you can't give a penalty for that.
Well, the assistant had the best view. I don't think Darren Bond would have had any view of that at all, given the proximity of where it happened. And it's Gibson who put it out. It may have just been chest anyway, to be fair. Left-footed, that swung over, headed away by Sarah. We are in 3 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. You're listening to Talksport 2, EFL Game Day Live, here at the King Power. 2 minutes of added time to play. Ricardo Pereira's going to take the throw on the far side as the Norwich supporters start the cries of handball every time the ball is passed. Here is Doyle. And now down this left-hand side, Mavididi running at pace towards the edge of the penalty area. Mavididi then couple of step-overs, goes back to Winks, who swings it to the far post. McCullum's there, taken down by Fatawu in the box. Gets his shot away with his left foot, but it's over the top of the crossbar.
Yeah, unfortunately, Fatawu does it really well. It weren't the greatest crosses to him from Harry Winks. He's got a lot of height on it, but he gets it down really well, and he just manipulates his body, goes to his right, moves the ball to his left. Well, again, it's good defender from Sam McCullum, because he just leans on him, makes him off balance, and he can't kind of wrap his foot around it into that far post, and it ends up going over the bar.
Gunn taking his time, no surprise, over the goal kick away to our left-hand side. It's been a difficult 20 minutes or so for Norwich City, but they've survived it. As the big screens again show the replay of Ben Gibson. So it has hit his right hand, but his right hand is literally across his body, as though, you know, when you have it as a sling, and it's come off of that. So you can't be given that as a handball in any way, shape or form. The assistant on that far side's got it spot on. Here come Leicester on the counter. Last minute of stoppage time. Dewsbury Hall from the edge of the box fires a left-footed shot, which Duffy blocks with his back. Taken down by Winks. Winks helps it on. Winks again. Lovely spin and pirouette away from three. Josh Sargent's closest to him, and it's Sargent that picks up the ball, then tries to skip past Doyle, who puts the challenge in, and Sargent just runs it out of play on this near side, and it'll be a throw for Leicester City.
Yeah, good play from Dewsbury Hall. As it opened up, I thought, yeah, pull the trigger. Really good defender from Shane Duffy, getting his body in the way. I mean, I think he's still feeling the effects now because he's rubbing his back, so it must have hurt. But they're the type of areas you want to see Kieran and Dewsbury Hall in. Edge of the box, getting his shots off, creating opportunities.
Fatawu with some room on the far side, maybe last chance of this first half, but Darren Bond says no, that's enough. Pulsating opening 45 minutes at the King Power Stadium. It was going the way of Norwich early on 20 minutes. A brilliantly worked corner routine down this right hand side, left-footed ball swung in. Gibson doing the hard work in and moving Dewsbury Hall out the way. and Sarah just poking home at the near post. Excellent set-piece goal for Norwich City, but Leicester finding the equaliser. Mavadidi was the man who managed to knock back Ndidi's cross into the path of Dewsbury Hall, and he headed home bravely within the 6-yard box. All set for a stunning second 45 minutes here at the King Power, where as we go into half-time, it's Leicester City 1, Norwich City 1.
That's Adam Bridge and Darren Bent at the King Power Stadium for Talksport 2. You're home of the EFL. We'll be back to chat with the boys in just a second. A very good afternoon to you. If you're just tuning into Talksport 2, my name's Ian Danter. I'm at the Bet365 Stadium in Staffordshire because our 3 o'clock offering, live and exclusive to national radio here on Talksport 2, is Stoke City against Huddersfield Town. Huddersfield arriving here in the bottom 3, but only on goal difference. 5 points behind Stoke, who've been a bit Jekyll and Hyde, but there's nothing wrong with a bit of Jekyll along with the Hyde if you're trying to get yourself out of the brown stuff at the bottom of the table. And of course, with all the 3 o'clock kickoffs around this game, I'll keep you bang up to date with goals that go in everywhere else and what they mean, because there's some extraordinary stuff, particularly in League 2, the race and the place for the playoffs. We've also got live games on Talksport later, once we're done Southampton, Ipswich and Leeds against Hull from 5:15 over on Talksport. But let's get back to the King Power and have a chat with Darren Bent, who's on co-commentary with Adam for that first half that he's just witnessed. I saw that first goal go in, Darren. I thought, wakey, Leicester defence. What was going on there?
To be fair, it was really well worked, you'd have to say, from a Norwich perspective, because Ben Gibson, he moves Keenan Dewsbury Hall out of that near post, but it's Patson Daka who switches off, who's marking him, and he goes in there, Gabriel Sara, and it's a really, really good finish. But you're right, I mean, I think the first 15-20 minutes, I don't think Leicester were quite with it, weren't really switched on, kind of lacked any kind of creativity, any energy, and it's almost like that goal, that equaliser, has just given them a little bit more now. And if you looked at the two teams, you'd probably say they look like the more likely to go on and win the game.
Found it hard to believe when Adam said there that's Keenan Dewsbury Hall's first goal since January. You wouldn't believe that, would you, the form he'd been in the first half of the season, that he'd have to wait that long?
No, because he has been outstanding. He's one who really impressed me, and even he's shown glimpses. I wouldn't say the whole first half it's been about him, but he's shown glimpses this first half that he can create, he can score goals. He just sees a pass as well, and even his goal, he shows real bravery because he's in there, middle of the 6-yard box, powers the header in, and he's got his side back into the game.
When I spoke to Adrian Clark about Leicester on Good Friday, Darren, he was talking about the fact that Enzo Maresca has plan A, and then plan A again, and then plan A again if it doesn't work. Is there any way he can get anything better out of his players by switching to a slightly different system, or is this what's going to work for him or not this afternoon?
Do you know what? It's one of those where a lot of things is the feet, and when you look at the Norwich backline in Ben Gibson and Shane Duffy, listen, good defenders, not blessed with pace, and when you've got someone like a Patson Daka and you've got Mavadidi and Fatawa on the other side, I think they've got to start playing balls in behind them, because at the minute everything's the feet. Norwich drop off to the edge of their own box, and they're quite comfortable defending crosses and having the play in front of them. The moment they just start spinning the ball in behind and using the pace that Leicester have got, I think they'll get more joy. So that's one angle I think they should take this second half for sure.
Good stuff, Benty. Speaking in a little while. Darren Bent alongside Adam Bridge at the King Power Stadium will bring you the full second half of that game, with its score tied at 1 apiece between Leicester City and Norwich City. Chris Awelamo's alongside me here at the Bet365. I'll have a chat with the big man in just a moment about what we should expect here at the Bet365 in our 3 o'clock commentary. You're listening to EFL Live on Talksport 2.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the EFL. EFL Live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Bring on the unbeatable strike partnership of McNuggets and Dip. Order McDelivery now on the McDonald's app and get tasty reward points delivered too. 18 plus. Rewards account required. Participating restaurants. Subject to availability. Delivery fees and terms apply.
At Morrison's, get half-price toys on brands like Hot Wheels and Barbie, plus many more in store. That's more play for them and peace for you.
Morrison's to shop at Morrison's.
Majority of stores subject to availability. Excludes online selected toys. Hot Wheels 10 pack was £23, now £11.50. Barbie Beach Doll was £19, now £9.50. Offer ends 14th of April.
Kayak, the flight comparison site, can also help you find great deals on car hire, at home or on your hauls. So whether you're roaming the streets of Paris, cruising the coasts of Paphos, or packing the family off to Penzance, Kayak compares great deals from major car rental sites quicker than you can say which way to the beach.
You legend.
Great deals on car hire, at home or on your hulls. Search Kayak and go see for yourself.
At Adrian Flux, we offer value-for-money specialist insurance for all kinds of vans and commercial vehicles. From couriers and caterers to plumbers, chippies, and even Mr. Whippies. Last year, our customers saved an average of 21% with a cost-effective, expertly tailored policy from Adrian Flux. Get van insurance that works hard for you and your business. Visit adrianflux.co.uk to get a call back today. Adrian Flux, insurance for the individual.
Switch to EE and get our fastest full fibre ever.
Well, how fast is fast?
Up to 1.6 gig fast.
What? So I can do online Pilates?
Well, they watch cartoons.
And download 4K films?
Whilst I'm gaming.
All at the same time?
That's right. All powered by BT with absolutely nothing to pay up front.
What? Nothing?
Not a thing. No wonder broadband switchers choose EE. Offer ends 4th of April.
New customers, 32.5% UK availability. Terms apply.
Gotta be the OG McChicken, if you know you.
Whoa. This McSpicy is actually...
a classic. McNuggets, barbecue sauce, it's peak.
Lunchtime. Time for a McCrispy.
We've got a bit of something for everyone. McDonald's. Chicken that hits different. Served after 11 a.m, subject to availability.
It's all about guts.
What a save by Marriott.
Goals.
Stops it past her and gets it in.
And glory.
And Ella Toon has just etched her name in the Hall of Fame.
The FA Women's Continental Tires League Cup on Talksport with Continental Tires. Listen to Talksport Drive all this week as Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent retread the action after every fixture. FA Women's Continental Tires League Cup reviews on Talksport. Continental Tires, driving safety and performance.
Talksport Podcast League. Outspoken, the best of White and Jordan.
Now available in one unmissable daily podcast.
He's going to be in charge for a considerable period of time.
It's a load of old pony. The final word on the final scores with Jim Mighty White.
I really mean this with sincerity.
And Simon the Saint Jordan.
What on earth have you got?
I think I look like the Saint. I think it's a Simon Temple outlook. I expected to hear the na-na-na-na-na-na.
Outspoken, out now.
Listen or download for free from your favourite podcast portal.
Monday afternoon, live. Championship football on Talksport.
What a goal!
Ipswich versus Southampton.
Kick-off 5:30.
Brilliant goal.
Monday afternoon, Techno, Full Flavour Football on Talksport.
On DAB+, online, via the Talksport app, and on your smart speaker.
EFL Live on Talksport 2.
But here comes Stoke at the other end. Andre Vidigal, they've got no left back here, Birmingham. Vidigal cutting inside, he can finish it here! 3-0 to Stoke City!
So many teams down there at the moment that are fighting for their lives, and there's going to be ups and downs for everyone, but we just need to stay calm.
Round his man he has, can he get the shot away? He does! And he finds the back of the net! Delano Bergdorf scores the goal!
The training week was really good, so we have to work the next few days for the next tasks.
This is EFL Live here on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2, and we're not even anywhere near halfway through our exclusive championship commentaries for this Easter Monday. At half-time at the King Power Stadium, it is one apiece between Leicester City and Norwich City. Norwich taking the lead, but Leicester getting themselves back on terms midway through the half through Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. Darren Bent and Adam Bridge, your commentary team at the King Power, and we'll be back with them in a bit. My name's Ian Dancer. I'm here at the Bet365 for our second commentary for the 3 o'clock game between Stoke City and Huddersfield Town. And Chris Awellamo, my co-commentator, has been good enough to join me in our commentary position. You know this place. Well, it's 20 years since you left here. I'm just working it out. It's 20 years, man.
Do I look that old?
No, you don't. That's the thing. You're still at your fighting weight, which is impressive. But Stoke City at home have had huge problems. Jekyll and Hyde, some great results away from home, but there's something stopping them expressing themselves. Even the Stephen Schumacher's quiet revolution that's going on, something's not right here. Chris, what do you think it is?
Yeah, well, good afternoon, Ian. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, you're spot on. You know, I think there comes a certain pressure when you're playing at home. I think players have a certain responsibility to go out there and get the fans up for the game. Give the fans something to shout about. And I've got to say, I think players have been a little bit lacking in that. Now you look at the
in the last 12 home games, only 2 wins, not scoring in 8 of them. There's an issue, and I'm talking about games where I think that when Schumacher's come in, there's been an improvement in the performance levels individually and collectively as well. And I'm talking about without the ball as well, being aggressive, being on the front foot, challenges going in, because it's all nice if it's all nicey football, nice on the eye, but it's got to be end products. There's got to be chances, there's got to be goals. So they're ticking one side of it with the basics and going out there and having that energy, that desire, that passion. But then you've got to have the quality in the attacking area to be putting the ball in the back of the net, creating opportunities and being clinical when they come. So, like you say, in the last 12 home games, 8 of them not got a goal. That's a massive issue.
I've got to hand it to Steven Schumacher, though. He went with Josh Laurent in a front two with Ryan Mai last time out. I saw what social media had to say about his team selection, but he was proved absolutely right. So the Trolls can get back in their box.
Yeah, well, this is when you have injuries and you've got individuals that have that certain quality. You just want them out there. Now, not only for their footballing ability, but their leadership qualities as well. Josh Laurent, captain of the team. I've got to say, he's been. You wouldn't think that he was captain in a lot of the games this year, because he kind of goes into himself. But when you're a captain, you lead by example. I mean, you're grabbing players up with you, you drag them, you're shouting, you're vocal, you're communicating all the time. And only when things are going well, he's the captain that he's got the potential to be. I want to see that today. This is going to be you have to go out and fight for everything today. It might be ugly, it might be scrappy, but you have to win those individual battles today, Ian.
Because they're 5 points clear of the drop zone with the win that they got at slightly out of sorts Hull City, but great performance to win 2-0 at the MKM on Good Friday, which would have busted a few coupons, I'm quite sure. They're 5 points clear of the bottom 3, which includes Huddersfield Town, who only goal difference stops them getting out of the bottom 3. They've got a worse goal difference than Birmingham City, just the other side of the dotted line. But no one in 5 for Andre Brighton-Writer, who came in. We've had 3 managers at Huddersfield this season. Warnock started it, Darren Moore had his go, but now it's Mr. Brighton-Writer. One is first, but no one in 5 now for the Terriers. Have they got enough quality, do you think?
Yeah, well, I done the game Huddersfield West Brom, and I thought they were excellent for probably 55 minutes, and I mean, I just don't think they're fit enough to play the way that Andre Brighton-Writer wants them to play. You know, he's come in, he's won his first game, but he's only took 2 points out of the next 50, the possible 15 that he can collect. I think they're going to run out of games, in fairness. I think when they are on top, they have managed to put the ball in the back of the net.
That game against Birmingham, second last game of the season at the John Smith looms large, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you can't think about that. This is the job at hand, and like you say, Stokes' form here at home. Every single person in that dressing room for Huddersfield will know exactly we can get at them here. Jonathan Hogg, my old roomie at Watford, captain of the side, I know exactly what he'll be saying, and he is one of those leaders when things are going bad that he can drag people up, but it's about what they do with the ball today.
Fascinating day in the Championship as well. Of course, you and me will keep everyone up to date whilst we're doing the commentary of Stoke Huddersfield at 3 o'clock about all the other goals going in elsewhere that could affect matters. You look around the table, Birmingham, who we just mentioned, at home to Preston North End, no one in 7 for Birmingham. Now they've got the temporary stewardship of Gary Rowett, former Stoke City manager, back in there at St Andrews. Coventry on the fringes of the playoffs, 4 straight wins for Mark Robbins. Ellis Simpson, Haji Wright now bang in form. They're taking on a Cardiff side who are sort of stuck in mid-table, one of the few sides that don't really have much to play for, I guess, Cardiff.
Yeah, well, that is always a danger, isn't it? And I think that's where I think Mark Robbins, with the experience that he's got with his Coventry side, how well they're going, you can't take the foot off the pedal, because sometimes when you don't have any pressure, you can just go out there, be relaxed, get the ball down and enjoy the football no matter the result, and that could give that Cardiff the kind of freedom to go and play the way that his manager believes that it can do.
Middlesbrough taking on Sheffield Wednesday, one of those other sides on 39 points along with Huddersfield and Birmingham. No one in 3 for the Owls. Borough, though, they picked up a bit. They had a dodgy run under Michael Carrick, but they're 5 unbeaten now, 9 points off 6th, so they've got a fair bit of traffic to negotiate to get into the playoffs, haven't they? I
think that's the thing, when it's not in your hands and you're relying on other teams dropping points, and there's so many, it's so tight, isn't it? I just think it's probably too much.
And at the other end, there's a couple of teams who are looking nervously over their shoulders. Plymouth, who are at home to Bristol City today, no one in 5 for the Pilgrims, and Blackburn, they're going to Sunderland in the Mickey Gray derby, no one in 10. A lot of draws in there for John Eustace, but Blackburn are slipping the wrong way.
Yeah, they were on that slippery slope. You know, he's come in, you know what John's all about. Another fantastic friend of mine, but he's he knows the way that he wants to play his football. He just needs to kind of get his feet under the carpet there and manage to change and just galvanise that group a little bit, but they don't really have that quality.
We'll bring you goals as they go in during the course of our commentary of Stoke Huddersfield, but let's get back to the King Power. Players are on their way out for the second half. It's all square at the break. Can Leicester get the nervousness out of their system and pick up all 3 points in front of their own as they take on the Canaries? For full second half commentary, let's hand you back to Darren Bent and your match commentator on Talksport 2, Adam Bridge.
Thank you very much, Ian. Welcome back to the King Power Stadium, where we see some blue sky above us and a weak sunshine to support a second half that's coming up, which is so crucial for Leicester City. They've lost their last 2 home games, managed, of course, just that 1 win in the last 6 in the Championship. But victory today, this lunchtime, will take them back to the top of the table, and they do still have that game in hand as well. We're off and running, and it's Leicester City who get us underway, kicking from left to right in this second 45 minutes. No changes at all at half-time. They've sent out the same personnel, both teams, for this second half. Norwich taking that early lead after 20 minutes, but it was only about 13 minutes later that Leicester got themselves level through Keane and Dewsbury Hall, and they're on the attack again now. Fatawu down this right hand side, gets it into the feet of Ndidi, cuts it towards the back post, has to be palmed away by Gunn because Dewsbury Hall was coming in and would have had a clear header on goal. They've kept it though down that left hand side. Mavadidi towards the edge of the penalty area, lifts the cross into the box, headed away, but only half cleared to the edge of the penalty area. Pereira tries to take it on, at which point it's hacked clear, but again there is that wall of Leicester City players, and Fatawu is offside on this right hand side again, and it will be a free kick for Norwich City, and you can hear the groans from the Leicester fans again. Darren Bent.
Yeah, really sharp start from Leicester, really good start. That Wilfred Ndidi Fatawu kind of partnership, Fatawu partnership, it happened a lot first half, where Wilfred Ndidi were just running behind the fullback and they just roll it in behind us. Can he pick out the right pass? And that one there he almost did, but that's something that Norwich certainly need to look out for. But I can understand why there's been no changes, because if you're either manager, I think you'd be happy with the way your side kind of performed first half-ish.
Yeah, that was an important palm away there for Angus Gunn, who may have been quiet for long periods of that first half, apart from having to gather a few balls, but an early intervention. I'll run you through the two teams in a moment, but Leicester on the attack again down this right hand side with Ricardo Pereira up to halfway, and Ndidi on this near touchline. Fatawu then just cuts inside around halfway and then just lifts the ball, floating it out to that far side to Mavadidi, who's got support outside him on this occasion. Dewsbury Hall's inside the penalty area, but that's just swung across towards Daka, but too much on it, and it actually hits the corner flag on this near side. Every Leicester player given up on it, and it stays in, and there's a chance for Norwich to get it clear up to the feet this time of Ashley Barnes, who's hauled to the ground by Fass, and it will be a free kick for Norwich midway inside their own half. The two teams then, Leicester have got Hermansen in goal. It's Pereira, Fass, Vestergaard and Doyle across the back, and Ndidi winks on the goal scorer Dewsbury Hall, and it's Fatawu, Daka and Mavadidi leading the line for Leicester. As for Norwich, a change from how they started today. Gunn is in goal, but it's now Stacey Duffy who's in for Sorensen, Gibson and McCullum. It was Sorensen, who we lost early on to injury, Duffy coming on, Nunez and McLean in midfield, Salah, Barnes and Sainz across midfield, and then it's Josh Sargent up top for Norwich City. Fatawu inside the penalty area, slips it in for Ndidi, and it forces a save from Gunn, who races to the edge of his 6-yard area to deny Wilfred Ndidi from a tight angle.
I guess that Fatawu Wilfred Ndidi combination, where he just gets the ball to his feet and Fatawu just leaves the ball in there for Wilfred Ndidi, who runs in behind the fullback, and it's Sam McCullum. He needs a little bit of help. 2v1s, he needs a bit of help.
Dewsbury Hall to the back post, header down, header goalwards that time from Doyle. Well, it may have been Vestergaard actually. No, it was Doyle, and it's straight into the arms away to our right hand side of Gunn. But it's a really good start to this second half for Leicester City.
It is, yeah, and again it's Fatawu and Wilfred Ndidi, a really nice combination. If you're Sam McCullum, the fullback from Norwich, you send to Kenny McLean, you've got to come back and help me. It's 2v1 every single time. Wilfred Ndidi just runs in behind, and at some point there he got a shot at goal. If they keep doing that and allowing that opportunity, they'll score from it as well, because it's so blatant what they're doing. But at the minute, Norwich, and we're 48 minutes into the game, they haven't dealt with it once yet.
Former England striker Darren Bent alongside me, Adam Bridge, here at the King Power this Easter Monday afternoon for the first of our live commentaries, of which there will be more than 50 in April across the Talksport network as the season comes to a real crescendo in every single division, to be fair. So much to play for across the divisions in English football, as well as, of course, in Europe, the WSL and the FA Cup too. We got it covered for you across the Talksport network throughout April. In fact, we've got 3 more commentaries for you later today. I'll tell you about those in a moment. Mavadidi on that far side on the attack. Just a few step overs, dancing with the ball at his feet. Comes back to Doyle. Doyle out wide on that far side to Winks. Winks then on his left foot will deliver a cross into the box, and around level with the penalty spot it's headed away by Duffy. Only out as far as Vestergaard, who will go out to the left again because Winks is still waiting and he's still got plenty of room here. Slips it this time into Dewsbury Hall, who made the run. His cutback goes out of play, but it's taking a deflection. It's well defended on that occasion inside the penalty area, I think by Kenny McLean, who had done the tracking, and it's out for a corner on that far side.
Yeah, Leicester started off really sharp their second half, creating them 2v1 overloads in the wide areas. Keenan Dewsbury Hall started to have more of an influence into the game. Harry Winks as well. And it's about Norwich, can they sustain this period of early pressure in the second half?
Corner from Dewsbury Hall on that far side, the left. It's swung out towards the penalty spot over the top of Fass, who was the closest Leicester player to it, but it does come out to Fatawu on this right hand side. Now to Ricardo Pereira, right footed, drifts that towards the back post. Going down inside the box again was Dewsbury Hall. Referee not interested, half clear, but only as far as Fatawu is on that far side. Lovely back heel towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It was Mavadidi who just tried to get in there, and Dewsbury Hall was going to try and fire that shot away. It was a lovely back heel from Mavadidi to keep the ball alive. Very clever thinking, but again didn't quite fall for Leicester City.
Nah, it didn't. Again, Norwich good defending there, getting bodies around Keenan Dewsbury Hall, not allowing him to create an angle to get a shot up as well. But Leicester have started to come up the blocks really sharp, but insightful passing, little 1-2s, creating overloads.
Daka onto Ndidi, spins and turns it out to Fatawu. Ndidi to the byline. It's well defended by Gibson, who just holds his arms out and says, what else can I do apart from concede the throw on this near side, because it really is circle the wagons time for Norwich City. Here's Fass towards the edge of the penalty area, slowly with the ball at feet, and well lined up defensively. A 4-4-2 at the moment for Norwich in the defensive shape. Barnes is all the way back as well, trying to help them out. And now, even when they get it clear to halfway, there's no great drive forward. They stay in their shape. Sargent is the first to break and try to close down Vestergaard, but they're hemmed in right now by Leicester City, the side who could go back to the top of the table with a victory today, desperately trying to make their dominance count here at the King Power. Wide to the right hand side, Fatawu loose pass this time, trying to find Fassad, gone on the underlap, but it's out of play, and that will be on that right hand side a goal kick for Norwich City. So 7 minutes gone at the start of this second half, Darren Bent, and it's all been Leicester City.
Yeah, it has. I think if you're Norwich though as well, I know Josh Sargent's dropping in, he's helping his teammates out by dropping onto Harry Winks and Pereira, trying to stop them from playing, but I think you've got to be a target. At times they're clearing the ball and there's no one up there. If you want to get Norwich up the pitch, Josh Sargent's going to have to stay high and try and hold the ball, draw some fouls, and maybe try and turn this Leicester backline, because if he drops too deep, Leicester will just keep wave of Leicester attack, and eventually they'll create something.
Throw in on that far side for Norwich this time, level with the edge of their own penalty area, and that was after good closing down by Mavadidi. Sargent's one possession just inside his own half, but immediately he's crowded out. It's given away. Winks will set play away down that left hand side for Doyle, who goes for the crossfield diagonal towards the edge of the penalty. Oh, the knockdown inside the box from McCullum, and it was into the path of Daka at the edge of the 6-yard box, but he can't do anything but to just control it and put it behind for what will be a goal kick.
I mean, the initial part's really good, he reads it really well, but it's poor execution because he tries to go first time as Sam McCullum tries to head it back to the goalkeeper. You don't need to hit it first time. Take a touch, you already go past the goalkeeper. In that scenario there, you take a touch forward, you go past the goalkeeper, your natural movement will take you past the goalkeeper, you tap it in the empty net. But that just shows me a man who's not scored many goals recently, and his confidence is on an all-time low.
Well, when you're going past the keeper as well, you're asking the keeper to make a decision, aren't you? Does he bring you down if you go beyond him, or... And you never know, at least that way you're giving yourself a couple of options, aren't you?
And that's the thing, it was almost like Patson Daka was in a rush to get the shot off as quick as possible. If he just slows himself down there and just takes the touch naturally, he's full of momentum, takes him past the goalkeeper, and then, as you said, the keeper either brings him down or he just taps it in the empty net.
Poor decision making, 8.5 minutes played. Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. First of our 4 live commentaries across the Talksport network today. Out wide to that left hand side, Leicester come again, 1-1 here at the King Power. Diagonal to Fatawu on this near side, who is onside this time. Takes it down by the corner flags. Lovely bit of skill to do it. Now cuts towards the edge of the penalty area. Now in the box, crowded out by 2 or 3 yellow shirts. And now they'll bring it clear on this near side. Little back heel finds the McLean, I think, who had gone back to help him out on this near touchline, right in the left back position. And he gives it to McCullum, and then goes down under the challenge from Ndidi, and the free kick's given. That's a soft one again, I think, from Darren Bond.
It is a soft one, but Wilfred and Ndidi, just don't touch them. You've got them exactly where you want them. They're pinned into their own final third. Just hold them there, don't put hands on anyone and let them play out of there. But I almost think at time Norwich, you're almost playing into Leicester's hands by 1 or 2 passes. Like Kenny McLean gives the ball to Sam McCullum next to the corner flag. Where's he supposed to go with that? Just clear the ball.
Enzo Maresca down there actively coaching his players. Jamie Vardy now warming up down below us, and that obviously gets the supporters excited. No surprise, I think they wanted to see him today, but having played on Friday at the age of 37, rested, but I'm sure it won't be long before we see his entry into the field of play. Throwing on this right hand side, again for Leicester inside the Norwich half, not by far this time. Fatawu takes it quickly and finds Fass. All the momentum is with the home side right now. Here's Winks, just dances away from 2 challenges. Was there a foul? No. Just Darren Bond as he went to ground. Instead they'll switch play to that left hand side, and here's Doyle towards Dewsbury Hall, nips in first and gets there ahead of Stacey. Now on that far side, Mavididi coming in onto his right foot, 30 yards from goal. He's got support outside him from Doyle and Dewsbury Hall. Mavididi still with ball at feet, looks towards the penalty area to try and work out where to go next. He goes to Dewsbury Hall, who finds Doyle, who swings it with his left foot across, and out of play for a throw on this near side for Norwich City. 10 minutes gone in the second half. It's Leicester 1, Norwich City 1 on Talksport 2.
I think it's going to be incredibly hard for Leicester to score a header like that from a direct cross like that because of the size of Norwich defenders, Ben Gibson, Shane Duffy. It's almost like you're asking an attacker to fly across one of the centre half to try and get a glance on it, because if you hang it up, I mean, you're never going to out-jump those 2 guys, so maybe they might have to think about how they put the ball into the box rather than just flying it in there any way they can.
Here they come again, Dewsbury Hall towards the edge of the penalty area. As we welcome listeners from Talksport, 11 minutes gone in this second half. It's all Leicester City. Fatawu gets it across towards the edge of the penalty area. Doyle drives the shot, and it's blocked inside the Norwich penalty area, and out for a throw on that far side for Leicester City. As I say, we're 11 and a half minutes into the second half. It's still Leicester 1, Norwich 1, but former England striker Darren Bent alongside me. It's been all Leicester in this second half so far.
It has. They're the ones who look like they're going to go on and win this game. They're creating 2v1 overloads. I mean, Fatawu, this second half has come out. He looks really sharp. Mavididi on the other side as well. But Wilfred and Ndidi making them runs in behind. Keenan, Dewsbury Hall. And as you said, Norwich need to become wise to it. But you don't want to see them Josh Sargent drop too deep, because at the end of the day, there's no outlet for them at the minute. It's coming up and it's just coming straight back because they've got no one to hit.
One thing that's really noticeable, Darren, is as well, they seem to be playing at a slightly quicker tempo as well, Leicester, which a few times Enzo Maresca has said at half-time, that's been his message. Keep doing, but you need to do it with a little more urgency.
Well, they've probably created more in this first, 12 minutes than they did in the whole of the first half bar the goal, because they are playing at a quicker tempo, getting the ball forward quicker, not in allowing Norwich to get back into shape quickly. And if it continues, you'd expect them to get something from this game.
Free kick goes the way of Leicester just inside their own half. Borja Sainz is the player who's adjudged to have fouled Wout Fass just inside their territory. Remember, if Leicester can win this game, they will go back to the top of the Championship for now, with those key games to come later this evening on Talksport, with Ipswich against Southampton and Leeds against Hull. That's all from 5 o'clock this evening, as Leicester have possession again on halfway. As we approach the 58-minute mark in the sunshine at the King Power. Leicester on the attack again with Doyle down that left-hand side, helped on by Mavididi. Here's Dewsbury Hall, the goal scorer for Leicester on that far side. He's closed down immediately, then very quickly by Nunez, who puts it out of play for another throw, as everything is hemmed in away to our right-hand side in that Norwich City half. And as Leicester come on the attack again, we played 58 minutes here. It's Leicester 1, Norwich 1. Coverage continues right now with myself and Darren Bent over on Talksport 2. Leicester again down that left-hand side. Doyle into Dewsbury Hall, wants the foul, not given, and that will be a goal kick away to our right-hand side for Norwich City. And Darren, what is David Wagner thinking? What is he going to do? How can he change this? Because we can't carry on like this for the next 32 minutes or so. So what is he thinking about how are the players feeling about how they try and break out of what's become a predictable pattern at the start of this second half?
Well, I think part of it he's going to have to tell Josh Sargent to stay a little bit higher, because at the minute Leicester are attacking, Norwich are dropping all the way in, they're clearing the ball and there's no one picking up the pieces, so then it's just coming straight back. I think at some point, the next 10 minutes, he's going to have to go, do you know what, you're going to have to stay a little bit higher, let the rest of the team come and not defend, but let them do the hard work, and you just be a target for us, because at the minute they've got no way of getting up the pitch. They're almost stuck in their defensive half because they've got no target.
Well, Wout Faes has just driven into the Norwich half, had to be stopped in the end by Ashley Barnes. They've got so much time and space, Leicester. Left-footed ball swung over this time by Doyle once more, picking out on this right-hand side for Toe, and now it's Ricardo Pereira who gets it across. It's a funny angle, but there's so many yellow shirts in there, they're able to clear quite comfortably. Doyle again trying to win it at the edge of the centre circle, edge of the D should I say, and on this near side Fatawu now in the box. Can he work it onto his left foot? Gets it into the feet of Ndidi, but Ndidi's on a run and he takes it in his stride and ends up just running it out of play. It was nice play, and again plenty of blue shirts in there, but nothing comes from it, and it's a goal kick to Norwich.
I wonder in that scenario, we've seen Wilfred Ndidi make that running behind so many times. At times maybe just stay away from it and let Fatawu get at the fullback 1v1 Sam McCullum. We saw first half him get at him time and time again, then go past him, and now this second half has been Wilfred Ndidi come almost running his space
and almost played themselves into trouble there. Sorry, Darren. Norwich in the penalty area. Nunez again, they've chosen to take the goal kick slowly, which is annoying the home support, and then almost gave possession away. Here's Dewsbury Hall just inside the box, turns on his left foot. Mavadini tries to skip past the first challenge, gets the shot away, and it's poked over at the edge of the 6-yard area, and Mavadini goes to celebrate. It certainly took a deflection on the way in. Patson Daka and Dewsbury Hall were in the 6-yard box as well, but it's Leicester City. They've come from behind, all made by Mavadini. The pressure pays off and Leicester get themselves in front. It's now Leicester 2, Norwich City 1.
It was all made by Mavadini, but Norwich had their helping hand as well, because they kept trying to play out from the back. They nearly got caught about 5 seconds before that, and when they gave the ball away, it felt, I think it was Keenan Dewsbury Hall, and he slipped a great pass into Mavadini, and he almost underhits it, and as the defender comes, he just stabs his foot into the ground. It goes over the defender's foot, but it's a really calm and composed finish. He gets it under control and just rolls it into that final corner from left to right. It's a really, really good finish, because I'm thinking for Keenan Dewsbury Hall on the edge of the box, pull the trigger. He doesn't, he just rolls it to Mavadini, who just stabs it into the ground, takes it over, I think it's Jack Stacey's foot, and then he just rolls it into that far corner. It's a really, really nice, tidy finish.
Oh yeah, the shot, there's an outstretched Norwich boot into almost the hands of Angus Gunn as the shot's heading to the far corner from Mavadini. It's the outstretched boot of Gibson, and between him and Gunn, it does take a deflection, yeah, off the boot of Gibson. I think it's going wide if Gibson hasn't stretched the boot out and just poked that beyond his goalkeeper.
Well, it was definitely coming. I mean, I was saying Dewsbury Hall should have pulled the trigger before that. He doesn't do it, but Mavadini, really, really good play to kind of elude the defender with that little kind of scoop over his foot, and then that calm and composed finish into that far corner. And it's no more than they deserve, because this second half they've came out, they've been outstanding, they've been intense in their play, and they've started to cause Norwich real problems.
Daka at the edge of the penalty area winning it. They're back in possession of the ball again. You almost kind of feel though Norwich were contributing to their own problems, because again every time they're trying to play out from the back, and they are literally hemmed in their own half, and they have been since the second half begun.
Exactly, and that's why you need a target. That's why Josh Sargent or Ashley Barnes, either one of them, needs to be high, because as you said there, they're overplaying at the back, they're passing it back and forth with no real intensity to it. They're just keeping it for the sake of it, and when you do that you get punished, and they've been punished.
And maybe they can get away now. It's Borja Sainz on this left hand side, skips past the first challenge, second one comes sliding in from Ricardo Pereira. It's a clean one to win the ball as well. Wout Faes now just tries to get away up towards halfway. McCullum's there, and he's going to be winning the free kick for Norwich. The challenge that time from Wilfred Ndidi on the halfway line, and that's going to be a free kick for Norwich. And I think the referee, Darren, wants a word with, is it Ricardo Pereira? No, he's just pulling them back to take it in the right place, which is still about 5 yards back from there. First chance really now for Norwich to get into the opposition area.
Well, now, again, they've gone short there, but they're now going to have to maybe change the way that they play a little bit. Not as safe in terms of keeping the ball. They're going to have to start playing in Leicester's half, maybe going a bit more direct, playing off Ashley Barnes, playing off Josh Sargent, because at the minute, if they're going to keep the ball at the back and play to Angus Gunn, to Gibson, to Shane Duffy, back to the goalkeeper, they just encourage Leicester to go and press them. At some point, they've got to maybe be a bit more direct, try and start playing in Leicester's half.
Could be a huge step towards promotion for Leicester City, and could well and truly get that promotion bandwagon back rolling once more after the faltering of the last few weeks. Sargent's going to try and chase that one down, but Vestergaard will get there first. Controlled by Doyle on that far side, and Dewsbury Hall will go back to Hermansen away to our left-hand side, who puts the ball out wide to that far side. Dewsbury Hall in the left-back position this time as he launches that one forward. It's half dealt with, but now the counter may be on from Avadidi, who just has it taken off his toes, and McCallum will just push the ball to that far side, and Norwich again go back towards Gunn away to our right hand side as we head towards the last 25 minutes of this game. Leicester 2, Norwich 1. You're listening to Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. And now you would hope Norwich would just come out, as Darren says, and play maybe that little bit more, just to try and turn over what's been a procession at times as Sargent's taken down on halfway on the far side, and that's going to be a yellow card for Vestergaard.
Yeah, really good play from Josh Sargent. We haven't seen enough of him in this game at all. He's their most dangerous player. I mean, really good form at the minute, 9 in his last 10. We didn't really get a sniff first half, and that's the first time he's almost in the second half got involved in the game. They just rolled the ball to him. He can run away from Vestergaard. He's quicker than Vestergaard. He just nicks it round the corner, and Vestergaard takes him out, and that might be a way forward. Start playing more directly in Leicester's half.
Well, here's a couple of changes for Norwich, the first of the game, and we are going to see the introduction of Christian Fasnacht. He's had a pretty decent season so far, 6 goals in his 36 appearances, but a real mix of starts and coming off the bench. So Barnes has gone, and also Marcelino Nunez is departing, and Liam Gibbs is coming on as well, signed from Ipswich, Young Player of the Year last season, 16th time off the bench as well. So Gibbs is on as well into that midfield. Slight change then for Norwich. First to make alterations as they try and find their way back into this game. Trailing by 2 goals to 1. Remember, they took the lead. Only the 11th time that Leicester have gone behind this season. And Borja Sainz has done well to keep it in on this near side, but Fatawu still pressuring him as he goes down on the free kick given by the assistant on this near side, right at the edge of his own penalty area. But that's the thing, we're seeing Borja Sainz there going backwards, and that's what we've seen too much of in this game from a Norwich perspective. You want him going forward. He makes that difference when he's driving forward for the Canaries.
Exactly, and you've got to get him the ball in the right areas. There's no point giving him the ball. I mean, I know he worked hard to win the ball back in his own half, but you need to get him in the ball in Leicester's area, in the attacking third. Let him go and meet someone 1v1, manipulate the ball, go and create something. I mean, he's been kind of starved of surface. A lot of the good stuff he's done today, Sainz, has been from a defensive standpoint, and they need to change that.
So Christian Fasnacht has gone on the right of the attacking 3 for Norwich City. Just slight change in terms of, I think Gabriel Serra has gone into the middle. You see how that pans out as they drive forward here, as Gibson just gets it into Fasnacht, who then goes wide on that right hand side where Stacey have got forward. Back once more with Duffy. Duffy ball at feet short of halfway for Norwich. Midway point of this second half on Talksport 2. Leicester City 2, Norwich City 1. It's going to be a tense final quarter of this game, that's for sure. As Leicester try and cling on, having won only one of their last 6 in the Championship, of course, and losing twice here as well, as the ball goes out on the far side as Norwich try to make headway into the Leicester half, really for the first time in this second period, but it's had a play, and it will be a throw-in for Leicester on that far side. Wonder how long before we see Jamie Vardy for Leicester City. He's down warming up, as is Connor Cody too. It's with Hermansen. Closed down, and given away, not the best of clearances. Fasnacht's there, gets it into the penalty area. Gibbs on that right hand side by the corner flag, lifts it towards the back post, and Borja Sainz was waiting for it, but Fast does well and wins the header. And now Fatawu will try and break down this right hand side. There's room in the middle for Dewsbury Hall, goes direct this time towards Patson Daka down the middle. He gives it back to Dewsbury Hall. Mavadidi's on that left hand side, brings Mavadidi in, chance to shoot into the side netting from a tight angle just to the left of the 6-yard box, and he looks to have done himself some injury in the process.
Yeah, wrong pass from Fatawu. He did really well, him and Wildface, to break up play. But then the pass was to Kieran Dewsbury-Hall. If he gives it to him, he's got half the pitch to work in. He just delays. And in the end, it kind of peters out and Mavididi hits the side netting. But again, Leicester, Norwich causing their own problems.
Yeah, Gibbs dispossessed just outside his own penalty area. Leicester have it back. Mavididi, Doyle. Maresca's screaming for it to come out to this right-hand side to Fatawu, who's in space again. But Winks instead goes down that left-hand side with Doyle. Mavididi, who looks to have recovered, having hobbled after he hit that shot. And then Dewsbury-Hall is closed out, and Doyle will go back inside his own half. And Leicester will have to build again, this time with Hermansen away to our left-hand side. 21 minutes remaining. Leicester City, with their 76th goal of the season, have moved in front here. Only Ipswich have scored more in the Championship this campaign. And when you consider they've only conceded 31 goals as well, and only Leeds have the better defence, it just shows that all round how strong a campaign it's been for Leicester City, barring the last few weeks, of course. And you look at the fixtures still to come too. And those home games against Birmingham, West Bromwich Albion, Southampton and Blackburn could well be key in defining where this Leicester City season ends up. And just tried to take a free kick quickly there, did Sadar, after the foul midway inside the Norwich half, but too quick for Darren Bond and in the wrong place. And they'll have to take it again, but it was almost a moment for Borja Sainz to be away down this left-hand side. So Norwich, following those changes, have just showed a little sign of life, and having fallen behind, have been forced to come out and play a little more. And here's Sadar down that right-hand side. Stacey's on the overlap. Sargent's getting in there as well. Stacey's done well. He's got away from his man in the box, gets the shot away and into the side netting. And Stacey with his left-footed effort, and it's going to be a goal kick to Leicester away to our left-hand side.
Chose the wrong option. A really good run from Jack Stacey. He just waits for the ball to go in behind. He goes in behind Mavididi. He gets across him, but then when you get into the box, bit of composure. I mean, you've got Josh Sargent, who broke his neck to get right into the middle of the 6-yard box. Liam Gibbs just pulled him into a really good area. A little cutback, and he's got a shot at goal. He goes for a shot at the near post with his weaker foot. Again, wrong option there. As you can see that Josh Sargent's free. If he can square it, he taps it in, or Liam Gibbs is coming onto it, and he goes for goal, and there's a poor effort in the end.
Norwich a little bit better from them again with Stacey on that far side. Gets the ball in field. Sadar is just poking it towards the edge of the penalty area where Borja Sainz was waiting. Although Leicester have done well to get that ball away, and they have. And it's been smuggled out in the middle of the park by Ndidi. Just shows that skill and strength that Ndidi's got. Just holds up a couple of challenges, keeps the ball safe for Leicester, and then finds Winks, who will now look to distribute down that left-hand side for Leicester. They lead by 2-1. You're listening to Talksport 2. Reminder, Stoke against Huddersfield coming up from 3 o'clock this afternoon here on Talksport 2, while later over on Talksport from 5 o'clock we begin the build-up to Ipswich against Southampton. That gets underway at 5:30. Ipswich, the leaders, of course, at the start of the day. Southampton in 4th, but do have games in hand. And then Leeds, who have been relentless, like a juggernaut in 2024, unbeaten, and they entertain Hull tonight. That's from 8 o'clock this evening on Talksport. So we've got you covered across the network today as we head into a midweek as well that's action-packed, full of Premier League action as well, with all 10 games live across Talksport's network. Out on that left-hand side, Leicester on the charge. Mavididi to Dewsbury-Hall, just about does well to keep it in play on that left-hand side. Here's Doyle, edge of the penalty area. Thinks about a shot, but then goes wide again to Dewsbury-Hall. There's a line of 3 shirts inside that penalty area, level with the penalty spot, but they'll come out again as Winks finds Fass and Fatawu down this right-hand side. But instead he goes into Pereira, and Didi does well, cuts it back towards the back post. Mavadidi's there, goes up for the header, just over the top of his head. Now it's Dewsbury-Hall. This time he drives it low towards the edge of the 6-yard box, where it's dealt with that time and away by a combination of Duffy and Stacey, and now the counter's on that right-hand side for Norwich City. There's plenty of pace, and it's Winks that gets back to do the defending. Sargent's in the middle. Here's Borja Sainz, left-hand edge of the penalty area. Rare foray forward for Norwich. Sargent lays it off. Sadar on this left-hand side drives the shot, which he probably shouldn't have done, and it's blocked out by Vestergaard and out of play on this near side, and Norwich will have possession.
Josh Sargent the wrong option. They get the ball into the feet, into the penalty spot. He's got his back to goal, 1v1 with the defender. Hold it and try and move your body, try and get a shot off. To be fair, he played it back out of the box, which kind of slowed everything down. I think in that scenario there, he's full of confidence, as we spoke about. He's in great form. Try and roll the defender and get a shot off. The fact he passed it back out the box, really, really poor decision there from Josh Sargent.
Sam McCallum fancies the long throw here down this left-hand side. He's level with the penalty spot, and he's launched that in very direct. It's headed away by Fatawu, and maybe the counter's on here from Patson Daka. McLean did brilliantly, and they've kept possession nicely. Have Norwich, and it's on this near side with McCallum, and then to Gibbs, the substitute. And here come Norwich again, this time down that right-hand side. But they're taking their time about it. Duffy's just going to get back into position as Stacey then gives it to Gibson. And now down this left-hand side, they'll hold it up again with McCallum. It's Gibson once more, just short of halfway. We've got 16 minutes left here. Leicester 2, Norwich 1, but signs of life from Norwich in this second half for the first time. Down that far touchline, a ball is clipped forward. Borja Sainz would have been offside, I think. Sadar will pick up the loose ball though and drive forward on the right. Looks like Vardy's about to come on for Leicester City as well. Dewsbury Hall's done brilliantly. He smuggled that one away and now tries to counter for Leicester. Fatawu down this right-hand side has got plenty of space to run into. He's got support arriving in the middle too, but rather than going for the corner flag, he goes into Ndidi, and Enzo Maresca looks frustrated. The crowd are frustrated, and Dewsbury Hall will go to that left-hand side. Now it's helped on once more by Doyle. Mafadidi on that far side. He's 35 yards out from goal. Left-hand side. Gives it to Winks. Winks goes short to Pereira. Everything's slowed back right down again for Leicester. Fass down this right-hand side. Finds Fatawu again. McCallum is there, trying to close off any options. Goes short to Fass. That flow of hair in the wings, just given short to Vestergaard. Now Fass again. Maresca points his arm out, giving plenty of instructions towards Fatawu. And then it's towards Fass again. Sargent closes it down, but Fass gets the delivery in, and it goes all the way through the penalty area. Picked up by Mafadidi on that far side. He's got two going to close him down. Mafadidi finds Doyle. Doyle, left-footed ball across, headed away by Gibson, and we'll get the team news at this point as we head to the Bet365. Stoke against Huddersfield. Ian Danter.
4 changes for either side, Adam. For Stoke, out go Kundles, Stevens, Haksabanovic and Mai. In come Berger, Baker, Bajunho and Ennis. 4 changes for Huddersfield. Out there go Bolker, Hogg, Bergzorg and Koroma. Radulovic, Patrick Jones making his first Huddersfield start of the season. Spencer and Sorba Thomas returning, come back in. Live at the Bet365 with us at 3 o'clock. It's Stoke against Huddersfield.
Thank you, Ian. Jamie Vardy is about to replace Patson Daka here at the King Power. And, well, there's a few standing around. I'm not sure whether it's a Patson Daka going off or Jamie Vardy coming on.
I think Patson Daka's done okay. I mean, he had the big chance, and that's what he'll be thinking about now. If only he could have taken that chance. But I tell you, he's going to be hungry, Jamie Vardy. After what happened Friday night, he will be hungry to put that right and score a goal. And now Norwich, it's a different threat. The pace, how quick he is, how sharp he is, his goal-scoring prowess. I expect him to get an opportunity today for sure.
Mrs. Vardy is here today in cap and sunglasses. I've just been shown a picture of her as Jamie Vardy enters the fray. So something else for Norwich City to worry about. The captain's armband safely placed on Vardy's arm as well. And a Duffy, Gibson, Vardy battle ensuing, you feel. But again, Leicester just slowed things down again. Having got in front, they're playing more like they did in the first half, aren't they? Just trying to control the game and the tempo.
Well, do you know what? Norwich are not really doing anything to change that. They're not really trying to press them or anything. They're almost ambling into trying to get back after the ball. So at the minute, Leicester don't have to do anything different.
And Didi down this right-hand side for Leicester. 13 minutes to go on Talksport 2. 2-1 to Leicester. Fatawu slips as he hits a shot from the edge of the box, and it flies high and wide away to our right-hand side. So every Premier League game this week is live on the Talksport network, starting tomorrow night 7:30 with Newcastle against Everton. That's here on Talksport 2. Forest against Fulham, Bournemouth against Palace, Burnley against Wolves. They're all live on the Talksport app. They're all either 7:30 or 7:45 kickoffs. And then at 8:15, West Ham against Tottenham in the Premier League is our live game on Talksport. And that will come with Sam Matterface, who's back from his holes, and the man alongside me, Darren Bent, the former England striker, will be alongside Sam and Adrian for that one. Here's Norwich on the attack, right footed shot driven in and headed away, and he stood firm there, did Vestergaard, the effort from Borja Sainz. It was on target, but the keeper probably had it covered anyway. Here's Borja Sainz again. And he just falls backwards because there's not a lot of options around him. Here's Gibbs. Gibbs towards the edge of the penalty area. Good challenge from Ricardo Pereira. Good work by Fasnacht that time to win the ball back for Norwich. And down this left-hand side, it's McLean. He's got support outside him on this near side from Sarrar. And now from McCallum. And Sarrar again, midway inside the Leicester City half. Back towards halfway. Ball picked up by Gibson. And now by Duffy. And just forced to think again, Norwich City, as to where they go to try and break down this Leicester back line, which is looking in solid shape. Fataru's dropped into it as well now, so there's 5 across the back. McCallum, infield. It will be win at all costs for Leicester City, you feel, at this point?
Yeah, it will be at the minute, and I think Norwich at some point, and we're getting to the last 12 minutes of the game, they're going to have to take some risk at one time. They're still leaving Josh Sargent up on his own. They're not really getting bodies in and around him. They're not committing too many men forward. And if they want to get something out of this game, they're going to have to start doing that. I know you leave the likes of Keenan Dewsbury Hall, Mavadidi, who's over there, who's played really well, Fataru, these guys 1v1. But if you want to get anything out of the game, at some point you're going to have to show a little bit more intensity to try and get the ball back and commit more men forward.
So as things stand, Leicester will be back on top of the table. They'll all have played 39 games, so 7 to go. And it will read Leicester 85, Ipswich 84 and Leeds 83. Of course, with Ipswich and Leeds to play later today. Those games you'll hear on Talksport. And where it will leave Norwich? Well, they'll stay in 6th place, having played a game more than West Brom, who are 3 ahead of them. And they'll have played 2 games more than Coventry, who played 38 and have 60 points. Both those sides in action this afternoon, and the goals as they go in, you can find those over on Talksport with Adrian Darren and the team, and they're already on air. So if you haven't got that Talksport app, you're going to need it this week. Get it downloaded now. You can swipe between stations and you can swipe between commentaries as well over the next week or so, and between now and the end of the season, where we're bringing you 50 live games in April alone. Last 10 minutes of the game, Leicester 2, Norwich 1, and still no movement from David Wagner down below. He's made those 2 changes, but nothing else really changing for Norwich City. This time they've gone direct, with Gunn having had the ball, and Sargent wins it. That's all 1-2 with Fasnacht, who gets a little pull of the shirt there by Doyle. It's spotted by Darren Bond, and it's a free kick for Norwich, 10 yards inside the Leicester half.
Yeah, dangerous this could be. I mean, again, it's a little bit straight to kind of, you've got to create an angle to get a good delivery into the box. But when you've got the likes of Gibson and Shane Duffy, good size, Josh Sargent is a good side as well, you've got to try and create something. It's got to be better.
Lifted to the far edge of the box, McCallum goes up and wins the header, but it's one of those headers that was really going nowhere because no one was close enough to take advantage. And Fatawu now will try and break for Leicester. Tries to pop a ball through to Dewsbury Hall, who is there. Vardy gets his first touch, and it's a good one. It's a header down to put him in some space on this right-hand side. And he's very calm, though. In years gone by, he'd have probably charged goalwards, but not quite got that pace anymore.
Oh, he's still quick enough. I'll tell you that.
And he still just keeps the ball. It's forward down that left-hand side this time for Doyle. Doyle into the box, looking for Ndidi had made the charge, and he's caught in a sandwich there. He was the meat in the sandwich between McCallum and Gibson, and Gunn could collect the ball, and then likes to bowl Norwich away down this left-hand side. Yeah, there are some things that don't go, aren't they? And you may use a little bit of pace, but you're still faster than most, aren't you? That's the thing.
Do you know what it is for Jamie Vardy? I think it's the first 5 to 10 yards where he's so electric still. I mean, yeah, of course, he's not as quick maybe as he once was, certainly a couple of years ago when we saw him destroying Premier League defenders season in, season out. But he's still got that burst, and because he's so clever as well, he's still really hard to mark. And I expect him, as I said, if they play the right way, Leicester, from now to the end of the game, I'm pretty sure he'll get an opportunity to score.
Well, he scored 6 as a sub in the Championship already this season as Jamie Vardy, in amongst the 13 goals that he scored throughout the season. It is only his 28th appearance because injuries have stopped him playing sometimes, but he's certainly made some contribution if Leicester were to get themselves out of the Championship this season. There's too much on that ball, looking for Ndidi, who had made the run to the edge of the penalty area. Looked like a tired ball there from Dewsbury Hall, and it'd be no surprise because he's put some yards in today.
He has. He's been good today, getting on the ball, trying to create chances for his teammates. I mean, he's had a couple of shots, scored a good goal as well, was really brave for that. Carries the ball really well as well. So yeah, you're right, there's going to be a bit of fatigue there, but again, with this Leicester team, if you want someone in possession, someone who's a calm and influence, he'd be the first one I give it to.
Norwich looking to build from the back as we go into the last 7 minutes. Plus, of course, time to be added on. A couple of changes coming for Leicester. Dennis Pratt and Hamza Chowdhury down below. Of course, the likes of Ricardo Pereira coming back from injury. And Didi as well has missed a few games through injury. And we'll be trying to look after those you expect. So we may well see some changes in those areas. Norwich building up now with Sargent on halfway, or Fass with a really good challenge, and Fass now driving forward towards the edge of the Norwich penalty area. Vardy outside him at the byline. Vardy chips it towards the back post, has to be dealt with by Duffy. In fact, I think it had already gone out of play, and it will be a goal kick to Norwich, and this will allow Leicester to make their 2 changes, and it is Pratt and Chowdhury. And the first of those changes, we'll see Chowdhury coming on to replace Ricardo Pereira. Well, as we thought, it was his first appearance since the end of February against Bristol City on Friday for Pereira, as he came out as a sub then, but Chowdhury will go on and replace him today. And I think Enzo Maresca saying, just nothing silly, let's just keep this tight, shall we? And we're also going to see Ndidi depart, and it will be Dennis Pratt who comes on to replace him wearing number 26. So sensible changes from Enzo Maresca, looking after those players on their way back from injury, of course. That start versus Bristol City for Ndidi was his first in the Championship since December, so looking after those that matter right now, Enzo Maresca. 5.5 minutes to play. You're listening to Talksport 2. Leicester 2, Norwich 1. Leicester going back to the top of the Championship with this win, albeit it may only be for a few hours, but Ipswich against Southampton is no easy game for Ipswich Town at 5:30 today over on Talksport. They were of course leaders when the day started today. Kieran McKenna's side just defying all expectation. When they had that wobble pre-Christmas, everyone thought, this is what we were expecting, they would peter out at some point.
I didn't expect
just back they come again. Yeah.
They're flying, it's absolutely flying. Long may it continue.
It'll be one of those remarkable stories, back-to-back promotions, if they can manage it. It's going to be very tense in the next 4 or 5 weeks, and we'll have every step of it right here across the Talksport network, the only place you can hear exclusive national radio commentaries, of course, of the EFL. Here's Vardy down the right-hand side, 25 yards from goal. Vardy wants some support. Fatawu is coming, goes back to Chowdhury, the substitute, who gets his first touch. Infield to Winks, and Vestergaard again inside that centre circle. And it's Pratt on that far side who'll have a touch. And everyone just wandering around. Dewsbury Hall's got his ankles, socks around his ankles on that far side. Sign of a shift that. Fatawu's done brilliantly. Slips that one into Pratt, who'd made the run down this right-hand side. But it's well read by McCallum on this occasion. And now Norwich will try and counter. There's a foul from Fass. And that's going to be a free kick for Norwich midway inside their own half. 4 minutes left. Leicester on the way to 3 points as things stand, Darren Bennett.
Yeah, Leicester doing really well, keeping possession of the ball. Norwich are playing like a side at the minute with the intensity, like they're winning. Like they're just kind of slow the clock down, trying to keep possession of the ball. At the minute they're losing. Commit more men forward. Try and win the goal. They're keeping the ball, keeping the ball at the back. They keep giving it away. Leicester win it back, and there's no intensity to go and get it back. So I don't quite understand what the tactics are at the minute. I mean, there's Leicester settling for that they've lost. Then fair enough, but at the minute no one's really, there's no barking orders on there, no one's really getting after anyone, putting a challenge in, trying to win the ball back. There don't seem to be anything.
They're very passive, aren't they, in everything they're doing. And as a striker, Josh Sargent, the form he's in at the moment, when you've contributed so little in a game and seen so little of the ball, how do you feel when you're coming off the pitch? Because that must have happened to you time and time again.
Yeah, it's frustrating because you're thinking you want to add to your goal tally, you want to push for that golden boot.
Here's Fatawu down the right-hand side. We'll come back to Darren in a moment. Fatawu gets that in to the feet of Pratt, then tees up Chowdhury, who fires over the crossbar.
Wrong technique, side foot from that side of the box. He was never ever going to score, but no, as you said there, if you're Josh Sargent, you're frustrated, you want an opportunity, you'll still keep believing that you'll get an opportunity, but have not played to his strengths at all. He's had no service whatsoever.
Couple more substitutions then from Enzo Maresca. Abdul Fatawu is coming off. Yunus Akpan is the player that's coming on, and we're also going to see James Justin enter the fray as well. Mavadidi has come off on this near side as well. In fact, Fatawu isn't coming off, it's just Mavadidi that's departing. We'll see who wanders over from the far side. No, Mavadidi and Fataru are the two players departing, so it is Justin and Yunus Akgün that are coming on. He's taking his time about it for sure. Gloves on as well today. Didn't think it was that cold myself, but and no wonder there's a high five from Wout Faes. And again, a few on their feet around us here. And a hug from Enzo Maresca. Mavadidi's goal via the boot of Ben Gibson. The more I kind of see the replay of the goal, it just looks like there's no communication between Gunn and Gibson, is it? Because you almost feel that Gunn's almost got there with his hand, but Gibson's almost there with his boot, does get a flick off the boot, and that's it, otherwise it's going wide. There's Josh Sargent's penalised for a foul. He's got his head in the ginger locks of his, the American. It was against Vestergaard, and Darren Bond gives it the way of Leicester City, and Sargent can't believe it.
I thought a little bit of both. I thought he would let it go. Josh Sargent's using his body there, rolling the defender. Vestergaard has got his arms all over him. I thought it was a little bit of nothing really. I would have just let it play. You can see Vestergaard's quite clearly got his arms around him. Poor refereeing again there for me.
I think the fact that Sargent held of his shirt may well have been the defining moment for Darren Bond, but who knows. I wouldn't like to get in the mind of a referee sometimes. A minute to go on Talksport 2, 2-1 to Leicester, and well, look at that work rate from Jamie Vardy. They're 2-1 up, we're into the last minute of the game, and he's charging down an attempt by Norwich to clear their own lines on this left-hand side. It's no wonder he's so loved around here, of course. 185 goals in his Leicester career. Third highest scorer for the football club. And it'll be a throw to Leicester on this near side. Enzo Maresca, who is way outside his technical area, just to tell Chowdhury to calm down. He's going to get dragged back in now as well by the fourth official, James Bell, down below. And we'll find out in a moment how many added minutes we have for Leicester to see out and secure this much needed victory. A first in 3 it would be here at the King Power Stadium. Still time to play though. Salah forward to Sargent, who's going to chase after it. Hermansson's there first though. He was already towards the edge of his penalty area and read that well. There's 5 added minutes at the end of this game. So we're into those 5 minutes now. And Leicester have possession on that far side. I mean, possession-wise, what kind of numbers are we talking possession-wise, Darren? It's been absolutely huge for Leicester today, isn't it?
Yeah, 61% to Leicester and 39 to Norwich. But again, we've said it, Norwich are comfortable in that type of position, giving up possession. They're not a team that needs to dominate possession to win a game. They can do it the other way, but when you play against a side like Leicester, you've got to do more to win the ball back, and that's the one thing I think out of possession which would disappoint David Wagner, is that they haven't won the ball back enough.
I'm surprised it's only 61 because it feels like they've had it for the entire game. James Justin on this near side just tries to slip inside McCallum, and then he's bowled over on this near touchline by Borja Sainz, and the free kick does go Leicester's way midway inside the Norwich City half. We've had a minute of the 5 added on at the end of this game, and it's Hamza Chowdhury who's going to take his time over this free kick for Leicester City. They look like they're heading back to the top of the championship table as things stand. Chowdhury to Faes. Could be a huge step towards automatic promotion. Pip down this right hand side. James Justin's there, gets to the cross. Vardy tries to get in the penalty area, but Gibson's there and alert to the danger. And it's another throw down this right-hand side for Leicester. You just cannot rest on your laurels when Jamie Vardy is in that penalty area, can you?
He's what defenders call a pest, because he's always there or thereabouts, and he's so sharp with his movement. And just when you think you've got a bit of time, here he comes with his pace to shut you down or to put a tackle in. I mean, for Leicester, he's been absolutely outstanding.
It's quite an extraordinary career. There's Justin again, and Gibson, not for the first time in this game, holds his arms out and says, what else could I do in those circumstances? We've had 2 of the 5 added on the end of this game as we welcome listeners to Talksport. It's Leicester City 2, Norwich City 1, and the goal from Steffi Mavadidi, which was just nicked in by the studs of Ben Gibson's boot and beyond Angus Gunn, is the one that looks like it's going to send Leicester City back to the top of the championship for now, and could be the goal that maybe just sets them back en route in terms of that automatic promotion push. The former England striker Darren Bent is alongside me. Norwich have offered very little in this second half, have they, Darren? And no one would argue that Leicester are worth the 3 points today.
No, absolutely. I mean, even when you look at even the first half,
there's Vardy flicking it back to Pratt. Pratt inside the penalty area. Winks tries the shot, appeals for a handball. Winks again on his left foot. Gets to the cross. Vardy! The Leicester City promotion party could be back on, and who else is right in the heart of it but Jamie Vardy on as a second half substitute. It's 14 for the season for Vardy. It's 8 in 9 games, and Jamie Vardy once again for Leicester City. This will be their first home win in 3, only a second win in 7 games. It's taking Leicester back to the top of the Championship, and Jamie Vardy has sealed it for them. Leicester City 3, Norwich City 1.
Box in the box. I mean, Harry Winks is trying his hardest to get a shot off. He has the first one, it gets blocked, it comes back to him. He's almost trying to create another opportunity on himself as he goes to his left, and just at the final minute he manages to get a shot off. It deflects off the defender and it falls straight to Jamie Vardy, and there he is, just about 4 yards out, smash it into the bottom corner. And it doesn't surprise me with Jamie Vardy, he's always there or thereabouts. It hasn't always got to be the cleanest of assists, but it drops down, and because his movement's so good and he's so intelligent, he knows the spaces to pick up. It falls right to him and he smashes it into the goal.
It feels like someone's just released the pressure cooker lid off of the King Power, and Enzo Maresca is usually one of the calmest men when goals are scored. He has gone down that touchline and celebrated like we've never seen him before. And Jamie Vardy's 186th goal in his Leicester City career, and that will seal the points today. And it could make a huge difference, Darren Bent, to Leicester, couldn't it?
Massively, and even psychologically, with the two teams playing later on, Ipswich and Leeds, they might be looking at it and thinking, there was an opportunity when Norwich were winning, they probably thought we've got a great chance here. But for Leicester, with the kind of form that they've been in recently, they will be outstanding. The fans will be happy with this result and the performance, certainly the second half.
And worth remembering, at the end of this game, they will have all played 39. So this, in essence, I know they're kicking off early and the other two play later, but this is where the level pegging is, and they are ahead of everybody else. They are a point above everybody else with this victory, moving on to 85 points. So they will still have that game in hand at some point.
Exactly, and they've comfortably beaten one of the most informed teams in the league right at the minute. Only Ipswich and Leeds are in better form than Norwich at the minute, and it's been quite comfortable for Leicester from a defensive standpoint, but when they've got their opportunities, they've taken them.
The pressure button passes over to Ipswich and Leeds. Leicester City win 3-1 at the King Power Stadium. And it's Jamie Vardy who seals it with the help of Mabadini and Dewsbury Hall. They went behind early in this game with 20 minutes on the clock to a brilliantly worked corner from Gabriel Sodar, but they fought back. Dewsbury Hall with a header, Mabadini with a shot that took a slight defection off Gibson's boot, and Vardy wrapping things up in stoppage time. Leicester City are back to winning ways. Is the promotion party back on? That's the question. They've beaten Norwich City here at the King Power by 3-1. It moves them back to the top of the Championship. Norwich hardly put up a fight in the second half. They'll stay 6th for now, but Coventry have 2 games in hand on them and are only 4 points behind them. And focus then moves to Portman Road, 5:30 tonight. Ipswich against Southampton over on Talksport, followed by Leeds against Hull. That's over on Talksport. That gets underway at 8 o'clock tonight. The sun's shining at the King Power. It wasn't this morning. It was very cloudy. There were dark clouds overhead. They've been banished for now. Full time at the King Power. Leicester City 3, Norwich City 1.
Adam Bridge and Darren Bent, your commentary team at the King Power Stadium. You can hear the relief around that stadium as Adam was summing up the action there this afternoon. I'm Ian Danter at the Bet365. Chris Uwelamo alongside me. We're about to turn our attentions on Talksport 2 to the other end of the Championship table. Stoke City against Huddersfield is our 3 o'clock kickoff here, live and free on your home of the EFL. But let's get back to the King Power, have a couple of final words with Darren Bent. So Leicester 85, Ipswich 84, Leeds 83. How are they going to be viewing that result at Ipswich Town, your old club, Darren?
Yeah, I mean, listen, first off, when Norwich were winning, I'm sure they were thinking, right, here we go, we can't get a result against Southampton, we can maybe extend that lead over Leicester. But fair play to Leicester. Second half, they came out, really intensity, front foot, from the get-go, they really dominated Norwich in that second half, created opportunities, took their goals when they came, and it's a really good performance on the whole, because at first you're thinking the fans were a little bit anxious, the players looked like they were a little bit nervous, but that second half they came out and they absolutely blew Norwich out the water.
It seems like Mabadini and Bataru have found some form today that they've been lacking in the last few weeks for me.
Yeah, they have. I mean, certainly Fatou, he was brilliant, I thought, today, getting in the ball, creating 1v1s. Him and Ndidi had that nice partnership, but Mabadidi's finish, really, really well-worked goal. Great little bit of skill to scoop it over Jack Stacey's leg, and then a calm Thierry Henry-like finish into that far corner. I think he needed that as well, because he's played well this season, but his goals have dried up, and I think today will give him massive confidence.
As for Norwich, was that just a case of Josh Sargent being too isolated this afternoon?
Well, they just didn't create anything for him. When they crossed the ball into the box, there was no real quality. He became isolated. Second half, they couldn't get anyone anywhere near him, because Ashley Barnes' first half was outstanding, was linking with him really well. But they just didn't give him anything that he could attack, that he could get his teeth into. And ultimately, he walks off the pitch. I don't think he had a shot at goal.
Darren, brilliant stuff. Thanks for being with us this afternoon on Talksport 2. Darren Bent and Adam Bridge, your commentary team, who brought you that 3-1 win for Leicester City. So they are back on top of the Championship for a little while at least.